Good morning, my Teaserking family. I hope everybody's doing well today and healthy and ready to make some money, ready to save some money. Today's class is our economics class, but if you want to ask football questions, I certainly will have an open forum. So, as always, I'll be teaching economics and as well as any other subjects that want to pop in, Bitcoin, assets, gold, silver, derivatives, what is inflation, what's the Fed. So I'm going to go through a lot of stuff. So let's go back and just figure out where to start. So I like to start with what is money, kind of go back to the beginning. And then move on. Now, for those who don't know, so I have a master's in Austrian economics and corporate finance from a highly prestigious business school in Detroit. It's accounting and business only. And I got my master's from there, and I learned more in a couple of years there in my master's program than I had learned in my life and things I never knew before. We taught things they don't want you to learn, the regular people. I had economics classes at my undergrad. I didn't learn anything like this. So this is really what's going on. So if you want to get your head out of the clouds or out of the sand and you really want to know what's going on, then this was a great learning experience. I use this technique when I'm picking football or baseball or basketball, primarily football. So I'm using trend analysis. I'm using, offense, defense. I've learned enough to get away from that. Just a second, I got this stupid message. All right. See, I hate that. Then I got to block it, and then I lose my train of thought. Nobody really knows what's going on because they don't want you to know. They want you to be blind to everything. Education is at its all-time low. It's teaching you socialism. It's teaching you the exact opposite of what you need to be successful. There's a reason that we were formed in 1776 and we thrive like no other country because we followed Adam Smith and Austrian economics. But everybody, what pisses me off is we come here and people aren't happy with this. I believe because they want they don't want to work. I think that's where it's getting to now, where before you work to make money because you could use your money. Now people don't want to work. So they want the handout from the government. So they want to sit home, not work, and get a handout. I notice it's tougher to work now. The people you work with are kind of just jealous and kind of mean, and they don't like you because you know more than they do, or for several reasons. There's more of a tattletale effect where they want to tell on you, they make up stuff on you. You're a threat to them. It's really a bad work environment right now. It's really poisonous. So I'm gonna try to teach here and on TikTok as my job, because I feel that people don't know. I mean, it's just amazing. People just don't get it. So I'm doing an Adam Smith. I'm looking at people and I'm talking to people and they don't understand what's going on. So I think I want to start teaching economics and stuff. But for you guys, it's no charge. Soon I'll probably want to teach it as a regular class, but don't worry. You'll always have me as your teacher, as your professor. So let's get to the basics. And I know I repeat myself, but it's very important. And I want to make sure you got it. And I don't care if I repeat myself. I do that a lot. So please ask comments, questions if you don't understand. Again, www.teaserking.com is my website, and on there's my email. I don't really like to give out my phone. I don't want to. I don't mind giving out my email here, but I don't know if you'll miss it. But if you go to the website, obviously you'll get it there. So first, let's talk economics, right? Okay, why do we have money? Why do we have this? What is this? This is a medium of exchange. So I can go to the restaurant, grocery store, pay bills with it. It's really just paper. It really doesn't have any value per se of an asset, right? So it's not really an asset to a point. It's kind of an asset that you can buy other things with it. But it's an asset that right now is being, if you keep printing this and you make this $100 worth 20, which is what the government's done, then it loses its value. That's why I don't think it's an asset, because an asset won't lose value. This is losing value because they keep printing it. And you have two different streams. You have Austrian economics, which is what we are, and you have the Keynesian or MMT people who are socialist, who believe the government should run everything, and the MMT want their way is just keep printing the money. I'll give you another 100. I'll give you another 100. I'll give you another 100. Oh, you got to pay your bill. Here's another 100. They want to keep printing it, but they can't see that if I keep printing it, it's going to lose. This is worth like $10 now from what it used to be. So it's sort of like football. I like comparing. So in football, what happens? A team goes for it on 4th and 2. And they feel, well, I'll just go for it. And if I don't make it, okay, I leave the other team the ball at wherever, and we'll play defense. And this way I have a chance of keeping the ball, and I have a chance of keep driving and keep the other team off the field, whatever their reason is for it. And what they're missing is it does two things. It pisses off the other team because it's very disrespectful that it's 4th and 2, you should be punting the ball. That's the normal game. So the team gets really pissed that you're going, which is already raising their emotion in an emotional game. The second thing is if you don't make it, it's the risk and reward. So if you do make it, what do you gain? So let's say you're at midfield and it's 3-0. Maybe you're winning. It doesn't really matter what's the score. It's early. It's the first quarter, right? 10 minutes into the game, you're at midfield. You should punt the ball and pin them back and then hold them and then wait for the ball and figure out how to move on the team. But if you go for it, so the first thing is the other team gets very upset. Secondly, if you do not make it, you've given them a huge momentum, and most likely they'll score a touchdown, and most likely that'll win the game right there. Thirdly, if you do make it, the reward's not there, right? You don't have a reward for making it, right? So if you you made the first down, now you're at the 48. What did you gain? You didn't gain anything. You risk a lot. You risk the game to gain. Now you're at the 48. Now you got to do it again. But it took you 4 plays to get the 10 yards. You got a problem because you should do it in 3. And if you can't do it in 3, you're in trouble. Unless it's like this far and you got a good quarterback sneak or whatever. Otherwise, you should not be doing it, because if you do not make it, which is going to happen probably 9 times out of 10, you're not going to make it. The other team gets fired up and gets the ball at the 50. And that's the correlation I'm making to the money. What do you do when you print the money? So if the monetarists, the MMTs or Keynesians, socialists, their idea is to print more money, they're not seeing that they're reducing the value of the money, right? The money loses value. It goes down. It's not worth 100. It says 100, But really, money is what it buys, the purchasing power. That's why we call it purchasing power, because what does it purchase? Again, this is a medium of exchange. This is what I give to the guy at Target to buy groceries, or I give to the guy at the restaurant at Boneyard to buy dinner, or this is what I go to the gold store with to buy gold and silver. I give him this. So as we explained in the last show, this bought you 10 ounces of silver before, now buys you 3 ounces of silver. Well, 3 ounces of silver, wait a minute, it bought 10. Why is it down? Well, pretty soon you're going to need 10 of these to buy 1 ounce of silver, and then 20. So this is really what should be on this is maybe 50 or a 40, because that's all it's worth. It's really not worth 100, or 100 doesn't buy what it used to buy. So that's the idea of a medium of exchange. There's the exchange and the use value. Convenience developed by economics. So it's a convenient, right? If I walk around with this, which is, what is this? This is this is a half ounce. I assume this is the ounce. So if I walk around with this, what do I do with it? That's the question I get asked, right? Well, how do I spend these? Well, this kind of is a medium of exchange, but it's worth too much. So that's why they developed this. So what you do is you take this and you buy this, and then this is a lighter way to go do your shopping and pay your bills. That's kind of the idea of it. It's just another asset. So it's the same as if you own a Rolex. Okay, I don't have a Rolex. I haven't had a watch in years, but let's say it's the same thing. So you got a watch worth 20,000. You sell it for this because this is what you use to go. So I get that question a lot, even from Nick. He'll go, well, what do I do with it? And that's the question. And the answer is you trade it in for the medium of exchange. Now, this is going to go out, right? They're killing this. They're doing it on purpose. It's part of the plan. I want to make this worthless. Okay, why? Why do I want to make this worthless? Well, I want to make it worthless because I want to come out with some digital currency. Well, they never will, because who runs the government? The banks. The banks put the people into the government, will not allow it to go digital. So they'll come out, and this is losing value and losing confidence, and they'll say, okay, here's a new dollar. And they'll design a new US dollar. And you hope that they back it by this. If it's backed by gold, it's fine. It'll keep its value. People will keep the faith in it. If it's not, it'll be the same as what we have, and it'll shortly die out also. Because this only works in God we trust. That's why this works. This is a Federal Reserve note, right? Federal Reserve note. It has really no, so it's legal tender, right? This note is legal tender for all debts, public and finance. So this is really just debt. So you go to the restaurant to eat, you give him this, it's legal tender. He has to take it, and then as long as you have that, you can pay for your meal or your groceries or your bill or your clothes or your airplane, whatever it is you want to pay for. Then we have credit cards and debit cards, so we don't even carry this. Or now that we have the internet online, we need to. I just bought a plane ticket, so I don't. How do I give this to the airlines? I don't. I do it indirectly through my credit card. And then I'll book the hotel. I'll do it the same way. I'll pay them directly through the credit card, and then I pay the credit card back. So it's the intermediary. The problem is we are way too much credit. Not me, but most of the country and all the companies are way too much debt. And this is what's going to happen. This is why the stock market's going to crash. This is why all these little companies are going to crash. This is why I told my boss, you're going to crash, because what happens is The banks have a risk now. As this goes to zero and they've got loans out, the fear is, well, wait, this is worthless. People don't have money to buy things. Well, wait a minute. I loaned out money. How am I going to get it back? So they won't reloan it, right? And that's what's going to happen. That's why interest rates are going up. If I loan you 100 and this is worth 40, wait a minute. I'm expecting 110 back. I want 10%. I'm going to loan you 100 to get 110. But the problem is this is only worth 40. So I've loaned you 100, but I'm getting paid back 40 plus 10. I'm getting paid back $50. I've lost $60 by loaning you money. Problem is the banks don't understand that. That's what we understand, and that's what you're going to understand. That's what inflation does. It kills the value, right? Because it's not an asset. So let's look at the qualities of the medium of exchange. So what is the quality of money? One, it's got to be portable. A little bit does a lot of work. So I can put this in my wallet. I can put this in my wallet. That's actually a Cougaran. So I can put this in my wallet. Or otherwise, can I put a Bitcoin in my wallet? No. Can I put, what other things, they've got to be able to carry. Is it scarce to keep the high value? This is scarce. That's a Cougaran. I'll keep it American. So this is scarce. We know there's some, but not really a lot. Is this scarce? Not anymore. That's the problem with it. It's not scarce. An overabundance loses its value, which is theoretically the problem, right? If it's inflation, it loses its value because you printed more of it. It drives the value down because it's like Topps baseball cards. They printed a lot, therefore it doesn't have a big value because look at a Barry Sanders Topps rookie card. It doesn't have a big value. Or Pro Set. The Pro Set where he's in the Oklahoma State jersey. It's worth maybe $200 as a PSA 10, but Barry Sanders should be worth $20,000, but it's not because they printed too many of them, right? So if you print a lot of something, then what happens is supply outpaces demand, right? You want more demand than supply makes the value go up. If you have more supply than demand, the value goes down. There's not enough people to buy all your dollars, and that's what happens now. Is it divisible for small exchanges? I can get a 10 or a 1. Now with the credit cards, it doesn't matter. They just hit you with $30 for gas or whatever. Is this divisible? Well, in its form, kind of, but you're going to need to change it to this to make it divisible. But you can do that. Now, back in Rome, they would have ounce, half ounce, quarter ounce, tenth of an ounce. So at that point, you could just, and they probably had prices in gold. So it would be a quarter ounce of gold to buy dinner was probably what it was, but there was a lot of it and the value was probably much lower because keep in mind, the reason this is now $1,900 going up to $50,000 is because the value of this is dropping, right? This is not worth 100 anymore. It's worth 20. Well, as this goes in Rome, you didn't have this. All you had was this. So you would value Oreo cookies as a quarter ounce of gold, but gold was maybe $20 an ounce. So then you would price things in a tenth of an ounce of gold. So you can see they made different sizes, quarter ounce, tenth of an ounce, a half an ounce. So they made a lot of different sizes. So, you didn't need to, how would you get, no, this is too much, but a tenth of an ounce, but that's what you priced it at. You didn't have this to price it. This is the problem. You've made this the medium of exchange, but you're losing the value of it is the problem. So now I take this to get that. It's got to be fungible. everything is the same. Well, gold is gold is gold is gold is gold. So it's all the same. Just as the dollar is the dollar is the dollar is the dollar, a 20, a 10, a 5, a 1. But yes, it's all fungible. It's replaceable. Acceptance. Do we accept this? Yes. Do we accept this? Yes. Do we accept Bitcoin? Teaserking doesn't. So no, it's not accepted. Some accept it, but not all. So that's the big problem with Bitcoin. But yes, everybody, if I went anywhere and said, here, I'm going to pay for dinner with this, or I went to Toyota with this, I would be able to pay for it. Is it durable? Well, this is indestructible. You could burn it, whatever you want. You can't get rid of this. It's the beauty of gold. This is durable to a point. You put it in your wallet. Now, if you burn it, you burn it. But theoretically, in your pocket, in your wallet, it's fine. What is value? Value is the most marketable commodity. It's what does this buy? That's what this value is. What does this buy? This is the value. What does it buy? That's the price. That's the value of gold. Right now, we price gold in dollars, but this is going to go away. And it's going to be back to Roman times where what does gold buy? Gold will buy a house. Gold will buy a nice Mercedes. Gold will buy my Canadian club, right? This will be, it'll be a tenth of an ounce of gold. A tenth of an ounce of gold I just bought was $200 for a tenth of an ounce. I bought about 10 of them. You can't always buy the ounce, right? You go in, it's 1900, you get tired of 1900s and you want some other denomination. So I buy a lot of silver and a lot of the smaller denominated gold when I can find it, which you can't find anymore. Very, very rough. So value depends on judgment. So what do we want to say it's worth? In other words, that's how we get into the market. How is this worth $50? Well, we judge it. If people buy it for 50, that's what it's worth. If nobody bought it for 50 and said, I don't want to pay 50, it's not worth 50. You can't sell it for 50. You have to sell it at market. Everything's at market. Football is really a market. When they put Buffalo 10 over Green Bay this week, the market determines if 10's a good number. If everybody bets on Green Bay and it goes down to 6, that's the market. If everybody bets on Buffalo and it goes to 14, that's the market. If you get half on each and the 10, that's the market. So the market is determined by the people who provide what's going on. Money is a marketable security. Market decides that money is marketable in value. So if nobody takes this, then it doesn't. It's worth 100. It might as well be monopoly money, and that's what's happening now. The rest of the world's tied to the dollar because the dollar is tied to oil from Saudi Arabia. We'll protect you, and you take your oil in U.S. dollars. So Saudi Arabia has all this valuable oil, and the U.S. had this great military back. This was done in the 60s, I believe. And so Saudi Arabia says, great, you're going to protect us. Okay, fine. We don't care. We'll do all the transactions in U.S. dollars. So any other country, Russia, China, Europe, that wanted to buy oil and everybody needed oil, they would need to buy these to then pay for their oil. So that made this the reserve currency when we took it off the gold standard. But it was always backed by gold. So it was good. You knew you could go to the bank, say, here's your, give me the gold equivalent. Well, government being corrupt says, now let's take it off because I can't print more. Because I only have the ounce of gold. Maybe at the time I could get $35. But I want to print more. I got a Vietnam War to pay for. I got entitlements to pay for. And that's where LBJ, one of the worst presidents are FDR was the worst, LBJ, and now you got Biden and Obama and Clinton were all really bad presidents. I'm still trying to figure out if I think Bush was bad. Reagan was great for the economies. As an economist, Reagan was the best. And then Trump, he's adding to the debt himself. So he's not necessarily, now he's firmer, so he prevents danger. So that's good, but I'm not sure what he is financially. He did bankrupt his own company, so I'm not quite sure how smart he is. The functions of money, the medium of exchange, you work for money, you work for this. They shouldn't tax it because this is barter. I'm going to do accounting, you're going to pay me in that. How is that income? It's not income. It's a store of purchasing power. You spend it over time. So you put it into an IRA, you put it into a bank, you put it into the stock market, you're holding it there to get more money back. So you're reviewing your options with money. And this is really where I'm battling a lot of people. It's a unit of account, the measurement of account, common denominator. Did you make or lose money? So what I'm battling with, people have this. And my battle is, all right, you've got $100. The banks aren't going to give it to you. And this is losing value. This is really worth maybe 40. And this is going down to 20. And then it's going to go down to 5. And you're going to lose the value of your dollar. So you can't hold this anymore. You got to get rid of it. Then it goes to, I'm saying go buy gold, because you can buy this for $1,800 now, or silver at $35. If you can find the buffalo, it's 25, but it's gone. So you can buy real assets. Again, this is not an asset. This is really credit. It's really an IOU, right? So this is an IOU where people are actually using it as a medium of I'm using this to buy goods and services. This is value. This is an asset. An asset has value. It's physical. It's real. So what my battle is now is saying, if you hold this, so you have this money in the bank, right? It's store of purchasing power. So I have 100,000 or 200,000 or $1 million, or if you're a ball player or a movie star, you have a lot. If you're Bill Gates, you have 1 billion of these. But the value of these are dropping. So you put it in the stock market to hold the value, which you think is holding. But because of the inflation, prices are up as an effect. It's really, this is worth less. So because this is now worth $40, let's say, and it's going to 20. So let's say it's hit $20, even though it says 100, it's only going to buy you $20 worth of goods, because the price of the goods have gone up so much that that's what's happened. So because of that, I'm telling you, get out of this, because the Fed's printing and the overabundance loses value. They're overabundancing this. They're printing way too much. 9, 10 trillion of these. Well, how can the value of 10 trillion of these be the same as the value of 1 trillion of these? It can't be. What I'm saying, though, is this has kept the same value at 1 trillion as it has at 10, which is impossible. Because when you print 10 trillion, this 100 had gone down to 50s, now maybe 20. Well, wait a minute. If it costs more of these to buy an asset, this should be going through the roof, because this is correlated. So at the first time, this was in 71, this was 35 of these to buy one, has now turned into you need 1,800 to buy one. Well, wait a minute. The value of this is drop, because the more you print, you've overabundance the dollar. You printed too much. The value has dropped. That's what inflation is. That's all that inflation is you printed too much of these, which has made the value drop. The prices are not inflation. They are a fact that since this is printed more, it costs more to buy this, or buy this, or buy this, a Bellagio cup. All these cost more, not because the price went up, because the value of this dropped. And that's the key to what's happening. That's the key to what inflation is. And as this is dropped out the door, this should be going up. So I'm telling you, buy this because this should be going through the roof. But here the problem lies: the government. The government wants a monopoly on this. They only want this. Even though they're printing it, I don't think they understand what inflation is. They seem to think it's prices. They don't understand. No, you're making this a $10 bill now. You're not. It says 100 on it, but it's worth 10. They don't understand that. They look at prices. Well, prices year over year, probably 20, because I'm sure they're not telling us the truth. So you need more of these to buy that. So in their mind, how do we cut prices, not how do we get rid of the oversupply of dollars? And they want to go, well, we'll raise interest rates because that'll slow the economy and that'll lower the prices. Well, in a sense, they're right. They'll lower the prices because people won't buy. So again, we make Canadian Club, and I love this company when I worked for it. Highly recommend it, but they were sold. So this, if I don't have money for this, sales drop, right? It still costs me to make it, and it costs me more because as this has dropped, everything else has gone up in price because it takes more of these to pay my electric bill, to pay my whiskey, to ferment it, to my labels, my bottle. All this costs money. And as this drops in value, it costs more to do this. Well, by costing more to do it, I can't sell it because this is not worth what it used to be. And then all your heat and food and rent has gone up. And you're already not doing a lot of the things you used to do because you can't afford it. So because that happened, I have to lower the price of this. I can't sell it, but I can't pass the cost on. Because if I make this, if my cost went from where I have to, let's say my costs are 30, I'm selling it for 50. So now my costs are 50 or 60, and I got to sell it for 90 to make profit, let's say. Well, I can't. That's what's being factored in now is this price is 90. But I can't make sales because people don't have the money and won't pay it, and they'll look for other whiskey that's cheaper. And therefore, by raising interest rates, all that does is make the cost of money more expensive. That's all an interest rate is. It's the cost of money. So if I make it more expensive and your mortgage went up and your car payment went up and your credit card went up, you have less money, right? They're stealing money from you. Therefore, I'm Canadian Club. I can't sell it for 90. And I use this as my rib example also, right? If you raise the cost of ribs to 40, nobody will buy them because nobody has the money, and we're already conditioned to pay in the 20s for it. You can't raise the price. Nobody will be able to afford it. So what does Canadian Club do? They lower their price to make sales, to make profit. So what happens to their stock? The stock drops. Why? Because now they can't make money. I need to sell it at 90. I can't. Nobody buys it. So either sales go to zero, and how do I pay my cost? Or I lower my price to 61, so I'm making $1 a bottle. Well, my stock tanks because I can't make money because my costs are 60 and I can't sell it for 90. I can only sell it maybe for 61. Maybe I can't. Maybe it's 50. So that's what the government's thinking is, I'm going to lower, if I raise the interest rate, it'll cause the companies, because it's going to cost people more money, the companies will lower their prices. And since I don't know what I'm doing, I'm the government, I feel if the prices go down, the inflation goes down. The inflation is you've printed too much of this, you've made this less valuable. How the fuck does interest rates going up and the price of the Canadian Club going down affect this? It doesn't. It's absolutely apples to oranges. This is you printed too much. That's inflation. You've ruined the value of this. If this is 50 to 60 because of the value of this and not because of the demand. So if the value now of this is dropped, causing me to lower my price, that this hasn't changed. You still printed way too much. You still have inflation, but you've killed Canadian Club because they can't sell. Their stock's going to drop. And let's take this to the whole market. Microsoft and Tesla, I heard, got bombed. Microsoft got bombed. Amazon will get bombed. Coke and Pepsi will get bombed. The car companies, Ford, GM, how are they going to survive when they have to chart? First of all, my Toyota that I spent $22,000 on in 2018 is $30,000. How are they going to? Who's going to buy that? I'll never pay $30,000 for a Camry. First of all, I don't need it because it's a Camry. So I bought it in 2018. I'll have it for 20 years. Secondly, so nobody's going to buy it. Are they going to make money? So they're going to sit on inventory, which means they've spent the money, but they can't retrieve it. They can't make the sale. What's going to happen to their stock? Go down. What's going to happen to their company? It's going to go out. What's going to happen to the little tool company I was at where the whole idea was to buy garbage companies that is run by an owner and try to replace the owner and figure out how to run the company. Do you think these car companies are going to buy this little tooling shit that these little companies sell? No, they're not going to spend anything. They can't sell the car. How are they going to buy? You think they're going to go buy this little shit? No. First, they're going to lay off people and they're going to cut their buying. They won't buy anything. So these little companies, these little hole in the ground companies that this genius is thinking he's buying are all going to not buy from him. I gave him 6 months. I says, you'll be bankrupt in 6 months. You'll be out of business. Doors will close. And the other thing is the banks aren't going to loan to little guys like this because they're not idiots. They know, how are you going to pay me back? So what a company does is, so a little tooling company, they don't have any money. They get 20 grand. So how do they pay for everything? Well, they get a line of credit from the bank. So the bank's not stupid. They're going to say, we're cutting the line of credit because we don't think you're going to be able to pay us back because it's too risky, because your customer can't sell cars, is not going to buy from you because he's got to cut his cost. So it's a domino effect, and they lay people off. So then all the people at this little company get laid off because the company closes because they can't make money because they can't make sales. So everything's about sales, right? If you have questions or comments you don't understand, please ask. Right now it's economics, but for Bobby, I do have a mantle card I'm getting to. So that's really what you're looking at, right? They can't make sales if nobody has money to buy the product, or they're forced to raise the price on the product, and or then the borrowing costs, because nobody can afford a car. Very few people can walk into a dealership and give them $30,000, right? Again, questions, comments, you don't understand something, you want something to explain, you want me to go over something, just ask. That's why it's live. And we can talk football if you want. I mean, if you have a question. So that's really where we're at, is the prices have gone up because this has lost value. This is worth $20 now, which makes the cost of the steel and the cost of the tires and the cost of the steering wheels to go up. Now you're in an influx. What does Toyota, Ford, GM, what do these companies do when their costs for the vehicle have gone up? They don't give their employees raises. The employees, everybody gets screwed because I'm going to give you this $100. Oops, it's only worth 40. Oh, well, but you don't know that because nobody wants to teach it to you except for the professor. Nobody in the wide world of USA wants to teach you this. This is Austrian economics. And what do you learn at school? Keynesian economics. And what do the finance people do with your money? It's MMT, which is socialist, which is put your money in stocks and bonds. So as I've explained, because Toyota can't sell their car when they do their earnings their earnings drop because their costs went up, their sales drop, means they lost money. Why do you buy stocks? You buy stocks to preserve this, right? Oh, I'm gonna get rich. I'm gonna put $100 into Toyota and it'll be worth $500. That's why you buy stocks. It's an investment, and that's the difference. This is not an investment. This is real money. This is not real money. This is freaking monopoly money. I'd rip it, but it is 100. If I got $1, I'll rip it. I think I have $1. Yes. So in the real world, this is paper. That's all this is. This is a piece of crap. This is worth maybe a nickel. Maybe. Okay? That's what it's worth. It's not worth anything. I'll keep this whole. I mean, I want to get my $20 out of this. This is worth nothing. You can't buy gum with this. You can't buy anything with this. This is what you need to understand. This is worthless. It's not an asset. This is your asset. This is your asset. This is my only mantle card, but it's in fucking good condition. Look at the centering. Look at the corners. This is a 68. I love the 68. There's the back. Pretty centered. If I were able to get a PSA 10 on this, and somebody please tell me why I wouldn't. The corners are sharp. It's the only way I bought it. Tell me why this isn't worth $100,000. That's an asset. It holds value, right? Now, it's not money because it's not fungible. It's accepted. I could walk into anywhere and give them the mantle card. Everybody would take it. It's durable in the plastic. This is a plastic case, right? So I'm not touching the card. It's in the case. And if you have cards like this, put them in a case. Don't put them in don't just leave them, don't leave it like this. You've got to put it there. It's got to be acceptable. It's got to be durable. In the case it is, it's got to be divisible. So it's not divisible. You have to go, this is a Rolex. You have to go get this. That'll make it divisible. But if I went on eBay and this is a PSA 10, I'm getting at least 100,000 of these to pay for these. And I probably should. Now I can go buy another 50 ounces of gold. But this is not going to get hurt either. As the value of this drops to $10, the value of this goes up. And when we switch to the new currency, so what's going to happen is we'll come out with a new $100 bill, and it'll be worth $100 for about 5 minutes unless it's backed by this. If the new currency is backed by this, it's fine. If it's not, if it's this, not backed by gold, it's the same crap. Bitcoin does not have a value, and that's why we don't get into Bitcoin. It's not an asset. It's not acceptable. It's not durable. It's not fungible. It's not divisible. It's the same as a card basically, except for this I have in my hand. I can get this graded and it's worth great value. I can't put the Bitcoin in my hand. I don't have anything that I can give to somebody to get it. They have to have Bitcoin to accept it, which they don't. So that's money and its function. So that's what's happening. As you buy stocks or bonds to store the money to gain value. If you went to a financial planner and you want to retire, what you're going to say? Well, put your money in stocks and bonds because they're going to go up and they're going to make this worth $1,000. And that's the whole point of a financial planner giving you the bullshit of buying stocks and bonds, which would work in most times unless you have heavy inflation as you do. You've got 90 trillion in debt and at least 30, let's say you printed 10 trillion of these. It's not scarce anymore and it didn't hold its value. So you've killed this. So if I put the money in the bonds, first of all, the interest rate's 2-3%. Inflation's at 10. I'm losing 7% a year. So my $100 I'm putting in, I'm getting 20 out. And this is, as we know, this isn't even worth 100. This is worth, we called it 40. So if I buy a bond with this, I'm really only putting in $40. And if I hold it for a couple of years, it's going to come out as $10, if it comes out at all. Or it'll come out as the new dollar. If I buy stocks, as I just stated, all the companies are going to lose because the earnings are going to drop. So there's two problems with stocks. You own Toyota, they're not going to be able to sell the car. They're going to need to pass the cost on. They won't be able to. People have already bought at 0%. People should have been buying their car at that point. I did. I think I paid 2% for my 2018, and it's paid off. So I was smart enough to think ahead. And that's what the Teaser King does, Professor. I think ahead. So I don't owe for my car. All I have is a little credit card debt. And yes, I'm in an apartment because my mortgage would be through the roof. And once the housing prices collapse, then I'm going to go, okay, I want a house. Here's an ounce of gold. Give me a house. So, you can shove that up your ass, mister. I live in an apartment. Don't take financial advice. So that's what you have. So the other thing is, so the stocks are, I'm giving you 100, you're giving me back 1,000. That's the idea of why you buy stocks. Now, if you think football and basketball are fixed, the stock market is fixed 100 times worse. They buy before you, they sell ahead of you. So if they're saying buy Toyota and it's at $30, they've already bought it from 25 to 30. You're getting in at 30. Then when they go to sell it, they sell it at the 30, goes back to 25, and now, okay, I'll sell it. And you're selling it at 25. So you're getting burned all over on the fixing going on in the stock market. So people think that's square. You're wrong. If you got a financial planner, say to him, what do you think about gold? And he's going to say, I don't like gold, because he can't say he likes gold, because the problem is the U.S. government wants this to be a monopoly. They want you to own this. As they fuck it up and lose the value, then you got to rely on the government. And all the government wants is to be in power. They want your vote. So they're going to ruin the dollar, blame Russia, and then say, oh, well, we'll help you out. We'll send you some money, or, go here for food, food lines, and go get food. And, we'll take care of you. We want the power over you. If you have this, you don't need the government. So the government doesn't want the competition. So unlike Coke and Pepsi, the government's saying, well, we only want Coke. There's no more Pepsi. So this is the dollar. That's all we want. Morning, Sean. This, on the other hand, is freedom. This, they don't control. They can't control you. This is going to go up so high in value. It's ridiculous, because this is going out because they keep printing the fucking stuff. This should go through the roof. And because it's manipulated, it isn't, but it's going to be, which is why I'm screaming to buy it. Hi, Sean. Are you familiar with what happened to Billy Walters? No, I don't know who that is. You can please explain that. That'd be fine. Who is he? And I don't know if we touched on this before, but I didn't pay much attention to it. So what happened to him? I think you mentioned the story last time, but you can repeat it. So the government doesn't want you in it, and they won't let the financial planners. You got to stay in this. That means stocks and bonds are in dollars. So they want you to stay in dollars. And then now, don't panic too much. They'll come out with a new dollar, but this 100 is worth maybe 40, and the new dollar will be worth maybe, let's call it 25. So you're going to give them the 100, they're going to give you back 25. If you can get into the bank, which you probably can't, and get your money out of the bank, which you probably can't. And that'll be the problem. But the banks will stay open since they run the government. The banks, are going to come out with new money, not digital. And secondly, the banks, it's in their best interest to come out with dollars to keep the bank open. Will probably not close. They'll probably take a holiday, and you got 100 grand in the bank. Now you got 50 grand, and it's in the new currency. And then all the retailers, Toyota now has to change the price of their car from 30 grand to, let's say, 50. Let's say it's half. right? So this currency buys you half of what it did. So the 100's worth 50. Sean, famous gambler, was sent to prison for supposedly insider trading somehow. Phil Mickelson was involved. There you go. He got off. Mr. Walters did not. That's because Phil Mickelson probably was the one with the insider trading and probably ratted on him and probably told all the details to send the guy to jail. Yeah, Phil's a real piece of scum. It's funny. Have anybody watched that girl who cheated that guy in poker? It's been, I saw it a couple times. And, well, obviously, why would Phil Mickelson get off unless he was the rat who told on him? So there's an episode on this girl cheating in poker where she calls with Jack 8 against this pro. I never heard of him. And guess who was at the table? Phil Ivey, the biggest cheater in the world, is at the table. So when I saw him at the table, I immediately said, oh, there's cheating going on. He probably gets part of it, would be my guy. He probably set up the whole thing because he's a real cheat. He cheated like Baccarat, like a million. And the way he wins at poker, I'm sure he's cheating there. I'm sure he's getting information. It's all, when you see these things on TV, it's all cheating. They all know what they have. It's not even their money. It's all bullshit. So this girl calls with Jack 4, and the boards, the guy has 7, 8 of clubs. The flop comes 9, 10, 10, 2 clubs, 9 and 10 of clubs. So the guy's sitting on a 7, 8, 9, 10, 7, 8, 9, 10 of clubs. So he's on a straight flush. She's got Jack 4. So he bets, she calls on the flop. No, she raises. So there's a pre-flop bet. Why is she calling with Jack 4? Then the flop hits. He bets small. She raises him. He calls. He's not going anywhere. No. It was a small bet on the flop. Then on the turn, he bets the small. He bets like 10 grand. She raises him 10 grand with nothing, with the Jack of clubs. On a 9, 10, 10, 2 club board, she's raising with the Jack of clubs, which, okay, you're totally bluffing, but a $10,000 raise doesn't make sense. If you're bluffing, you would bluff all in. You wouldn't bluff 10,000. 10,000 is not going to get the guy off the hand. You're making the bet as if you have trip 10s, which, okay, that would make sense, but you wouldn't even bet it. Well, if it was me and the flop, and I had I had ace 10, and the flop comes 9, 10, 10, and I got a set of 10s, and there's 2 clubs and a 9, 10 out there. The flop hits on the turn, I would be all in with that. I don't want you to catch your straight or your flush. That's what happens. So with that, she's clearly cheating. So she raises it. So he bets 10 grand. She makes it 20. This is a cash game. He then goes all in. He's got like 800,000. She's got 100,000. So he's putting her all in. Now, every legitimate poker player in the world folds because if he's all in, I can't bluff him, right? He's put me. There's no bluff bet left. I can't go all in and bluff. That's how you bluff. You bluff with a big bet, and then the guy has to decide to call or not. That's how you bluff. You don't call the bluff. You don't call bluffing. That's nobody in the world who plays straight would do that. So the girl's obviously cheating. And I was watching an episode yesterday. So what it shows is that the guy has a full house a couple hands earlier or whenever they showed the tape, and she's got like a flush draw, but she gets to the river and her shirt or coat starts vibrating. It's telling her to fold. If I vibrate, you fold. And there was a guy back in the camera room where their video thing, and there's no delay apparently. So it's vibrating, so she folds her little hand, right? He's got the full house, she folds. Here, she's waiting for the vibration, and it doesn't come. She knows her jack's good. So she calls an all-in bet that wasn't a bluff, straight and flush draw, with nothing. with the jack high. She's obviously cheating. It's obvious. It's the vibration. She didn't get it. So the guy's telling her, you're good. Now, the problem is she shouldn't call because then it looks so obvious that you're cheating because there's no way in the world you would call with the jack 4 on a 9, 10, 10 board. You're not calling with jack 4. I could easily have an ace or ace king or maybe a king of clubs or an ace of clubs. I mean, very easy. If you're going all in with that, you're probably going all in. To me, you'd be going all in with 3 10s, right? So why would I call with the jack unless I know you don't have it? And then the river comes, it's like a 4, or no, it wasn't a 4. It was like I don't know. It wasn't a 7-8. It wasn't a jack 4 or jack 3. It was garbage. I think it was an ace. So she wins, and we're all like, okay, first of all, you don't make that call. Secondly, you weren't bluffing. He was making the bluff bet, but it was a semi-bluff because he had flush and straight draws. You had nothing. The only way you make the call is if you know he doesn't have it, and you still got to sweat the river. So what the fuck are you calling for? It was obvious cheating going on, which is like Phil Mickelson. So anyway, that's what we're talking about. So I don't know who this Billy Walters is. Some of these big bettors are really not gamblers. They hire people like me. So let's say, Sean, you bet $1 million a game and you get my locks, and my locks have been winning like 95%. So you take my picks and you bet it, and then you come across as this big gambler. Look how smart I am. And I'm like, well, you're the gambler, but you're not. It's not. You don't know what you're doing. You're just taking. If I give you bet the UCLA over with Oregon and it wins, and you win. You didn't pick it. I picked it, but you're smart enough to get my picks and make those bets. But you can't you can come across as this great gambler, like, look at me, but you're not doing the picking. And that's the problem I have with people that do that. But anyway, that's what this Billy Walters did, or these other guys. Does Vegas allow any amount? I assume you're talking. I know Holyfield. Does Vegas allow that amount? Yeah, I know they do. What is it, Merriweather or whoever that boxer or Tyson have bet $1 million on Super Bowls and stuff. So I believe they do take it. I believe at worst case, what you would do is bet $500,000 at Caesars and $500,000 at the Venetian or something like that, or bet $300,000 at 3 different places. You could do that certainly. But yeah, I don't think there's a limit on it. And if it is, it's probably a lot more than $1 million. But that's what'll happen. So that's my point here. With that, but the whole reason you're buying stocks, or you're buying this, or you're buying that, is to make money. Now, what kills me is I could tell you to buy Mickey Mantle cards, which I do, and I don't know anybody who does. I'll buy Bitcoin. Do you know how rare this card is if it's a PSA 10, which it's a 1968? You can see it, right? The last year is 67, so it was made in 68. Okay. Do you know how rare, if this is a PSA 10, this card is? There can't be 25 of them. This will easily be $500,000 for this card. I don't know if it's his last one. I think it is his last card. So you buy Bitcoin. Why would you buy Bitcoin over a Mantle card? This again shows the lack of intelligence of people that are taking their money. Now, why are you investing your money in the first place? Because the money loses value. Why does the money lose value? Because it's paper. It's not backed by gold. If this was backed by gold, this would not lose anything. That's why it was $35 for 50 years, because it was Brentwood's in the 40s, and gold was like $35 an ounce till 1971. So you could take $35 and get this. for 30 years. Nixon takes us off. Now you got to invest because you're going to lose value. And it slowly went to 90 and 80 and 70. And now this is worth $40. In my last show, I explained you used to get 10 ounces of silver for this. It would be $10 an ounce. Now you get 3 ounces of silver for $105. And pretty soon you're going to need 10 of these to get 1 ounce of silver. So this is why you buy this. This is 1,800. Oops, sorry. This is 1,800 soon. So it takes 1,800 of these to buy this. Soon, you're going to need 50,000 of these to buy this. That's why you buy this. This is where your money is going to make money. But because the government doesn't want you to leave this, they put you in stocks and bonds because this is how it's valued. And this is not government. This is free. This is free market. And they don't want you in free market. So they price fix it to keep it out of free market. And they do, so they try to tell you, oh, this isn't worth anything. Look at COMEX, it's going down. What do I hear here? COMEX is 1650. This is physical. COMEX is this. So think of this and COMEX in the same light. This is physical. This is what goes up. This is real. It's not like a paper Mantle card. If somebody was selling you a paper Mantle card, who'd want it? I want the real card. That's what this is, not the physical, not the paper, not the derivatives, not the ETFs. You don't want that. You want to actually hold it. Getting out with mom. Thanks, Professor. Oh, enjoy, Sean. Yeah, not a lot of it doesn't show a lot of viewers. I get more on football, but that's okay. A lot of people will watch this. A lot of people ask for it, like Bobby Bowe. You do realize Bobby Bonilla is the baseball player who visits here. So I find that he'll like the Mantle analogy. I'm actually surprised he's not here because he was looking forward to it. But enjoy with mom. So that brings us to what's going to happen. So companies obviously their prices go up, cannot pass them on because people have lost value in this, so they aren't going to go buy Toyotas. They're not going to go buy the Canadian Club or the Bellagio Cup. You can't afford it. You got to be very selective. I need rent, and I need my utilities, and I need my food. That's the first and foremost, whatever's left. Now you don't invest because who has the extra money to invest? So you don't. I am ahead of the game, aka the Joker, and I've already bought this at a cheap price and my silver. And now I still go buy some silver because it's still so fucking cheap. They've ran out of the $25 Buffalo round, so all you have left is Eagles at 35. And they think it's expensive. I just laugh. I go, this is $2,000 an ounce. And they don't believe me because of the paper gold and silver being repressed by COMEX based on the government, the corrupt government saying, keep it down. And JP Morgan keeps it down. But JP Morgan's going to lose trillions of dollars, as will the other banks, because the Russians and the Chinese are countering it and going to say, we'll take all we can eat. And by the way, we want the real price, and they're going to make the price go up because they're going to ignore it. And a lot of people are off the US dollar. And guess what? Saudi Arabia says, we'll take anything. We don't need the US dollar. It's all part of the plan. We pissed them off on purpose, and then they go. So the question is why are these monitor Keynesian socialists, communists, why do they want to kill this? That's really the question that needs to be asked. Why are you killing the dollar on purpose? Right? You pissed off the Saudis. You don't want people to buy gold, so you want everybody in dollars. The stock market's crashing, the housing market's crashing. You're raising interest rates, which is causing everything to crash because it makes things more expensive. So now you want to buy a house, your payment went up. So where you were buying a $400,000, it's just like everything else. It went up because of the inflation, because you don't want to get, so nobody has money for a house, very few of us. So it's a $400,000 house. All right, you need money. You go to a bank, he gives you $400,000, but he wants interest. Well, I'm not going to give you $400,000 and not get paid back something, so I'll make the interest rate 3%, 4%. Now the interest rate's up to 7% because he needs to get paid back his 400,000 plus interest. But he knows his 400,000. If you did a 30-year fix, it's gonna be worth 200,000 by the time he's done. So he wants 77% interest to get his 400 plus so he wants 440, let's say. Well, the only way he's going to get it is to raise his interest rates. Interest rates go up on mortgages and cars because of inflation, not the Fed. When the Fed raises rates, it's supposed to lower the inflation, which should lower those interest rates. So it's a counterbalance. It's not, people think when the Fed raises interest rates, that raises the mortgage rate. It does exactly the opposite. Because now, oh, you're not inflating the money anymore. Now I don't need as high of an interest rate because I'm going to get better money. But the Fed's target is not to lower inflation. It's to lower the cost, the prices. So in the Fed's thinking, as I raise interest rates, they're going to have to lower prices. But they're not solving inflation because you still have 10 trillion of these running around. You're not doing anything to lower that. But what you are doing is fucking the whole world over, because if I have British pounds, well, let's go to euros. Euros is 1-to-1, right? So I have a euro. Well, we'll do this 1-to-1. So I have a euro and I have a dollar. And they're even right now. But as I raise interest rates, the dollar goes up. Well, this used to be $1.20 for the dollar. It's now gone to even, is now the dollar's worth more. So you're killing the euro because it takes more euros to buy the dollar, which I need to buy other currencies. So if I want to buy Swiss francs or yen and I have a euro, I can't. I have to buy dollars to then go buy the yen or the Swiss franc. I can't just take my euro to buy the Swiss franc. That's how corrupt the system's set up. So you need to buy this. Now, as this drops in value, you need more of this, which is bankrupting the euro. The euro will be out soon, which they'll come out with a new euro. So all these, like they came out with a new ruble, they'll come out with a new dollar. So really all that'll happen is they'll just come out with new dollars. But if they don't back it by gold, it's still going to be crap and it's still going to go to zero because you don't have any backing. It's just paper and they go print it. And the more they print, the less it's worth. Again, overabundance loses value. So that's money. So this is called fiat money, which is let it be. Fiat money is produced by the government. That's what this is. Do we trust the government? How could you? I mean, you can't even run an election that's fair. If it was fixed or not, it's too much doubt. Did my vote even count, or did it counted? But then all miraculously another 400,000 votes come on that aren't even real, and my guy loses. So I don't have any faith in the government, being honest. Fiduciary money is money produced by a bank, but the fiat is produced by the government, and that's really the problem. So those are different types of money. So this is government money, which it's a monopoly and it's terrible. So the fiduciary, the money system's fiduciary, government run, trust faith in the banking system. M1 is cash in circulation and checkbook money, and M2 is that plus safety deposits. So it's cash, it's money in your savings account and money in your checkbook. All the money out there that's in cash is the money substitute, and that's what we're looking at is inflation. So if you had 1,000, you wouldn't have much inflation. When you hit 10 trillion, they don't have any value. So these are IOUs. It's a financial asset if they're willing and able to borrow and pay it back. This is what the bank does. So I deposit 100, they lend out 90 of it. So they create $90 out of thin air and do a loan. They do IOUs. That's the way a bank works. They don't have your money in the bank. That's what I'm screaming at. You won't be able to get your money out. So if you got 100 grand in the bank, they don't have your 100 grand sitting there. Just like Social Security, you pay in and the employer matches should all go to you. It goes to somebody else. This is, again, a big problem where it's not yours. It goes into the collective, which is what communism is and socialism. You lose your freedom and independence. The key to the bank is how good are the IOUs? Is there a public willingness to borrow? And it's becoming no, because they depends what the interest rate is. The higher the interest rate is, they don't want to borrow. Okay. The worst investment for a bank, BlackRock, is real estate because it's long-term. Savings accounts are short-term. Real estate is very risky based on fluctuating interest rates and trade cycles, which are fluctuating, caused by the fluctuating interest rates. That's what the trade cycle is. The trade cycle, and I wrote a thesis on it, is simply as you raise interest rates, it's the cause and effect of raising and lowering interest rates. So when you lower interest rates, it's good for the economy, but it causes inflation. When you raise interest rates, it's bad for the economy. It slows it down because it makes things cost more. And that's what they're doing, is now they're trying to slow the economy. They're making things cost more. In the process, they're bankrupting not only our country, but the whole world, because now it costs more to buy the US dollar because everybody needs the US dollar, which is why everybody's fleeing from the US dollar as the reserve currency. They're all going to this BRICS-backed dollar buy gold. And again, so if you jumped into it, I'd be leery of Russia and China to actually trust them. But who else are you going to trust? You want to be in this gold-backed dollar. So 55 countries have left the US dollar. And it's like I said before, once there's no confidence in your dollar, nobody wants it. It's like an old, football player where, he was great, but then nobody wants him anymore. So Tom Brady still has a demand. The way Aaron Rodgers keeps playing, he might not have a demand. But the regular guy who, hits 29, all of a sudden nobody wants him anymore. Well, he can't sign with the team because nobody's interested. Well, that's the dollar. Nobody will be interested in it because it's inflated to death. These people aren't stupid. They might inflate, wink, wink, they know what it is, but they don't want any part of it. Russia doesn't want it because they know you're inflating and it's worthless. So why take this? I'm Russia. I don't want this crap. I want this. I'll take gold all day, but I don't want that crap. So the Fed, what is the Fed? It's a clearinghouse. It clears the money. So NBD and Comerica, two different banks. Well, NBD is not in existence. Let's call it Wells Fargo and Comerica. Wells Fargo has $1 million in checks. Comerica has $1.5 million checks payable to NBD. The difference is $5,000. So Comerica owes NBD $5,000. Little money is needed to run the economy. Little money changes hands. So the Fed then takes the $5,000 and pays. So again, it's like the currency where Comerica won't pay NBD. They'll go to the Fed and the Fed pays it. And of course they charge. And that's why the banks charge us so much. The value of money. This is the only money. I'm going to hold up the U.S. one. That was a Cougaran. This is U.S. And the thing is, they're both the same because they're both an ounce of gold. So the value of money, which this is money, is what it can purchase. The market talks in prices. Prices go up and down. The value of the money goes up and down. Supply is good side. Demand is cash side. So this is really gets its value from the market and prices. What can this buy? So if I go somewhere, what will I get for it? And that's my point. And it's not as much now because it's being deflated and price fixed down. So you'll own this. but this is going to go through the roof very, very soon because they can't keep holding it down because too many people want it at this price. There isn't any left, and then it's going to be, oh, okay. Oh, you want it? I'm gonna want $20,000 for this, and there'll be a lineup of it. This is really not money. It's fiat currency. It's government currency. It's government fiat. And again, it's what does this 100 buy? And as you can see, it's buying a whole lot less. It even buys less of this. It definitely buys less of this. This holds its value. It's an asset. This holds its value. It's an asset. And this is down because of price fixing. It'll go through the moon. It'll go to 50,000. This is going to zero. This is losing it because this is the only thing they keep printing. You can't print any more of these. You can print like 2,000 copies of this, and it'll say on the back 2,000. This does not. This says 1968. This is the real McCoy. This, you can't make more. You can find some in the ground, but you can't copy this. You can't print this. It is what it is. And it says 1 ounce of fine gold. And as long as it says 1 ounce of fine gold, and for you Krugerrand people who think, well, I don't know if I should buy it, it says 1 ounce of fine gold. And as long as they say 1 ounce of fine gold, it's 1 ounce of fine gold. The only thing it doesn't say on it is the 999, I don't think. Yeah, that's the only thing missing. But it is 1 ounce of fine gold. Yeah, it doesn't say the 999. I don't know if they'd even say it. Actually, this doesn't say 1 ounce of fine gold either. This just says 1 ounce of gold, but it doesn't say 999. Let's see if it says it on the front. No, it's just dated 2022. So this doesn't say 1 ounce of fine gold either. So I don't know if gold says 0.999 as much as silver does, but these are, minted coins. You can't copy them. You can't print more of them. There's a static number. And believe me, everybody wants this. Not a question. So that's how they get value. So the value is dropping here because they're printing too much of it. As you can see, everything costs more because the value of this 100 is now worth, let's say, $40. This is being price fixed down and will go up to $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 for this. This has no way of going up. It can only go down to zero. That's why. So what did we talk about in stocks? Well, I buy this because I want this to go up in value, so I buy a stock or a bond. I'm telling you to buy this with this, then it'll really grow. That's your best investment now is this, because this will turn from 100 into 50,000 of these. Well, this is 1,800 to buy this, but it'll go to 50,000. So this will go 25 times higher if you have this. And again, how do you get rid of it? Same way you get rid of this. You go sell it on eBay or a store or somewhere. And that's how you sell this. And that's how you sell a Rolex. And that's how you sell a house. That's how you sell your car. You got a nice Mercedes. How do I sell it? Is there demand for it? So of course, anything with value, there's always demand for. So maybe I'll go and buy a Mercedes with this. Maybe I'll go and buy a Mercedes with this. If I get this graded and I can show on eBay it's worth $500,000, and don't worry, I'll ask for change. And I want the change in gold. So that's what money is all about. And that's why I'm screaming, this is going to zero. You'll be lucky to get it out of the bank. Put your money in this because this hasn't gone up. This has been price fixed down because the U.S. wants you in this. They don't want you in this. So people who don't know see this at 1,600 go, oh, it doesn't have a value. It's only 1,600. As this drops to nothing, but this is going down. And when people who don't know what they're talking about say, well, don't go and go, look, it's going down, buy stocks. Well, the stock's going to go down far worse because companies can't make their earnings. So their costs went up. They can't pass on. They can't charge $100 for a Canadian club because the value of this has dropped. So now it takes you 200 of these to buy the Canadian Club. Well, I can't afford that. I'm not going to buy it. I'll buy something else. I gotta heat my house and buy food for the kids. So I'm not buying Canadian Club or Bellagio or a new Toyota. What happens to their companies? They all lose sales, which hurts their financials. They lose money. Anybody in the stock market knows you buy companies that make money. They're not making money. I sell. The other part is, well, since this has lost value and because my stock's dropping, I better get the fuck out of the stock before it's too late, and or I need money to feed the kids because this is losing value. So I sell my stocks to get gold or to eat and feed my family because that's the only asset I have. So I've taken this and bought stocks, right? So now I own Microsoft. So I've traded in this for shares of Microsoft. But Microsoft's going down because they can't make earnings because people can't afford it because the value of this is losing. So people sell their stock in Microsoft because, again, they need money, which is the medium of exchange, to buy food and clothes and heat and rent. So where's my assets? Okay. Since I moved my money into Microsoft and I need money, and I don't have this anymore, I got shares of Microsoft. So what do? I got to sell my Microsoft to get my money out. And maybe I made money, maybe I haven't, but we hope the ones turn into five. So I take three out. Well, what's that going to do to the stock market? You needed money. You pulled your stocks to get money back, just as what you're going to do with gold and what you're going to do with the mantle. You're going to do the same thing. If I need money, I sell it. But the stock market's going to go down because people are going to need the money for rent and food. And they don't have this anymore because they moved it over into the market. So I don't have this. All I have is this. I got to sell this to get more of this to pay my bills. And if everybody sells in the market, because this isn't one person, it drops because people are selling. And if people sell, let's understand the stock market. It is an auction house. You are auctioning what to buy. I'll buy Microsoft. I'll buy Amazon. I'll buy Tesla. It's all an auction, right? What do I want? I got this. I can't buy every stock. What do I buy? Okay, I'll buy Amazon. Oh, that looks good. Oh, they're hurting earnings. I'll buy Tesla. I'll buy Microsoft. I'll buy whatever. I'll buy Coca-Cola. And you go to since nobody's educated in it, they go to their financial planner who is not educated in it. He's a freaking salesman who doesn't have a clue what stocks are good or bad. He might come to a guy like me. So if you wanted to bet football, you come to me and I go, bet take Seattle. I'm going to lock it against San Diego on Sunday, or take UCLA over. So I'm giving you what I think. I'm a professional at it. You buy it, you win, you make your money, you sell it to your clients. And I know I have people who sell my picks to other people, and it's fine. Just give me a kickback. I don't know who does it, and I don't care that you do it. Just don't forget who you got it from. And so people, so that's what happens. But the guy in the financial planner is a salesman. He doesn't have a freaking clue what to do. That's why I'll never tell you to go into this. The only person that's going to tell you to go in the mint is a financial analyst, me, who also has enough brains to pick football games, but I pick them in the same scenario by understanding this. I understand football. I understand this because I understand football, and I understand this because that's the way my mind works. So I get all that. I'm looking for things. Why is everything going? I ask that question, and it helps you here, and it helps you in this, and helps you in this. So you go to your financial planner because you don't know, because they don't teach this in class. They don't teach money. And if they do teach economics, it's Keynesian, which is socialist. So they're teaching you socialism, which really pisses me off, which is why I'm doing this, because nobody knows. They think, the government will just print more money and there will be no effect. Going forward on fourth down will have no effect on the game. if we don't make it, oh, well, they'll get the ball. We'll stop them. Boom. They don't look at the emotion and the passion that you just given the other team and the field position. So they don't understand anything. That's the biggest problem with going forward on fourth down. Unless it's at the end of the game, you're down 4 points, so you can't kick a field goal. You got the ball at the 5 and it's fourth and goal with 30 seconds left, then yes, you have to go for it. But if it's the first quarter and the ball's at midfield and it's 4th and 3 and you're going for it, you should be fired as the coach. Any good coach would know I'm giving up field position and momentum, and the game's basically over if I don't make it. Do you really want to take that risk? That's like putting all your money in Microsoft, and then oops, Microsoft's losing money because Bill Gates is a Chinese communist, and he's selling secrets, and he's going to jail, and Microsoft just went down to zero. Oops, I put all my money in Microsoft. And it's the same thing. Why are you risking it all? So in that sense, what you have going is I've invested this in stocks to make more of this. I really don't want my money in bonds. They think bonds is a safe haven. Oh, the bonds will be good. The bonds aren't good. The bonds are going broke, plus the interest rate they give you on it versus inflation. So this is losing 10% of its value a year. And if you put it into a bond, you get, let's say, 3% back on it. Well, but I'm losing 10% on this. I'm losing 7%. Why the fuck would anybody do that? You're better off just keeping your money, but you're even better off going and buying silver and gold, which is going to go up. Or go buy a fucking mantle card that you can't lose on. This is the point I don't understand. I'll put it in, the stock market's going to go up. Why? We're in the middle of a freaking depression. This is being just hammered. So if this is being hammered and companies are going to lose money, why is the stock market going up? Because people are getting their money out of the bank into the stock market. Who the fuck has their money in the bank now anyway? Nobody has their money in the bank earning 0% interest, or maybe 1% now. So you got your money earning 1% in the bank. That basically the inflation's killing anyway. So you're actually losing 9% by keeping 100 grand, getting 1% in a savings account or a CD. You think you're making money? No, nobody understands. Look, they don't understand inflation kills the value of this. This is worth $10 now. People don't get that. That's why I'm here. So you put it in assets that have a value, because this will keep the value as the dollar, as this goes to 10, this goes to 30, 40,000, this goes to 20, 30,000. Wait till I get it graded. If this is a 10, which it looks fucking good, it's perfectly centered and the corners are sharp and the pitch is sharp. This comes back at 10, it's going to be worth $500,000. So that's my point. So I'd rather put my money in that. That's far more limited than a Bitcoin. And I know there's demand for Mantle. Who's demanding Bitcoin and why? Why are people in Bitcoin? Well, they want to make, so I put my 100 in Bitcoin and I'm hoping to make 200. And Bitcoin went way up to 100,000 a Bitcoin. Now it's 20,000. Well, it's going to go back up. Why? Who is going to take their money that's being heavily inflated and choose Bitcoin when Bitcoin's already proven it went from 100 to 20, going down to 0 because it's not money, it's not gold. How can they call it gold? This is gold. Everybody wants this. Any normal person, the whole country of Russia, China, and India wants this, right? They're buying, they got tons and tons of it, right? 35,000, they got 25,000 tons of this in China and 15,000 tons in Putin's backyard in his pool in Russia. And India has, another 10,000? And the U.S. has 0 tons of gold. But there was that article where the guy has, let me try to find that. A guy bought, I think it was, I want to say 500 million, but I'm not sure. Let me go to my friend. I give my friend who owns a gold mine in South America all my little juicy stuff. Um, I need to put this in my other. So there was an article where this company, had bought a ton. This second. So here's an interesting one. The Saudi-Russian alliance is out in the open. So what that means is they are now selling gas to Russia, which means the U.S. is no longer the reserve currency. But keep that in mind. Let's see. Japanese yen collapse forces nations to reopen for travelers. So if you don't believe me, you can read the articles, right? Japanese money collapsed. China has a terrible property sector and a ton of debt. They're in big trouble. Now, this is interesting here. This new Russian gold exchange. Now, this is where our physical will go up through the roof because of what Russia's doing, because Russia wants its gold to go to true value. By having this gold exchange, this is going to go to 50,000 at least. Until it's not in US dollars, it'll just be whatever the price is. All right, where is that? Here it is. So Palantir bought 50 million in gold. Okay. Palantir, I'd never heard of, bought 50 million in gold bars in August. 50 million in gold bars in August. I don't think I have to really go much more into it than that, right? 50 million in gold bars in August. The move reflects a growing company stashing cash as an unconventional asset in response to economic uncertainty, spurred by the coronavirus pandemic, blah, blah, blah. 50 million in gold bars. 50 million. Are you kidding me? Now, all these countries are going bankrupt. And what did they do? They got out of cash. 50 million in gold bars. How many do you have? I have more than this, but at least I have some, and I got a ton of silver, and I keep buying more and more because the price is fucked up. But with this Russian gold pricing mechanism where they're going to price it in physical, not derivatives. All gold is priced in the U.S. derivative market, which is false. So they sell $1 million in derivatives. They don't have 1 million ounces of gold, but they're selling 1 million ounces. It's so corrupt and so illegal. It's a joke. The guys are going. They had a trial and they were committed. So 3 JP Morgan guys should be going to jail for price fixing for years. Gold. And that was another where people will say, well, that's a conspiracy theory. They don't price fix. Bullshit. That's like talking about the NFL fixing games and people, oh, they don't fix. Bullshit, they don't. And, the more I thought about the New England game, the more I think it was fixed. And here's how I think it was fixed. I think New England had to maybe not lose the game, but not cover the game. And I think what happened is they purposely started Jones because, and what did he do? It was like 1 for 13 with an interception for 10 yards or some godly numbers, and it killed a quarter and a half. And I think they did it on purpose so they would lose or they wouldn't cover because there was a lot of money on New England minus. It went all the way up to 8.5 or 9. And as soon as you see that, the fix is in and Vegas isn't going to lose. They're like the government. They're not going to lose. They're probably run by the government. I liked it when the mafia ran Vegas. You get the cheap steaks and the cheap poker and the cheap blackjack, and you could play and enjoy yourself. Now it's too corporate and it sucks. And anyway, so that's, I think, how it was fixed. Is he started Matt Jones for a quarter and a half, and then he brings in Zappe, and it's 14-10. He throws 2 touchdowns in early. So imagine if he started the game. Zappe threw 14. Well, let's say they go up 21-0. The game's over. Fields can't run. He's got to throw. The game's all over at 21-0. But no, he puts in Jones, who everybody knows sucks. And here's Bill Belichick. You want to tell me he's the smartest coach in the history of the world? I tell you, you're out of your mind. I'd take Lombardi, Walsh, Parcells, not Don Shula, but even Joe Gibbs, not Ditka, but Jimmy Johnson. Those are the smartest coaches that ever coached. Jimmy Johnson, when he did it in Miami and followed it up with the Cowboys, let's go see Belichick coach college and do anything. Let's go see him without Tom Brady. What's he doing? Nothing. So again, you have that. So that's how I think about the thing. So let's talk about inflation. We know it's the value of the money. So there's 3 types of inflation. This is realistic of what the hell is really going on. Inflation is the increase in the money supply, as I've talked, makes this worth $10. So you're taking something worth 100, you're printing it, it's corrupt, it's going to the government officials, they put in their pockets, or they're even so ebullient to buy stocks that they get together and call, we're going to all buy Microsoft, and they all buy Microsoft at 100. It goes to 120, and then they all sell it. So they take their money because they know it's inflated, they buy stock and then sell it, but nobody knows what's going on, right? The public doesn't know. That's what insider trading is. They should all be thrown in jail. Everybody. And don't tell me Republicans and Democrats are different. They're all the same. They're all corrupt. They all should be in prison. Anybody that runs for office is only doing it because they're corrupt and they can get the kickbacks and have the mafia help them, and the banks will pay them off. And okay, so they're reporting to J.P. Morgan. Basically, I wonder how many governors and senators does between J.P. Morgan, Rothschild, and Soros. I bet they own all of them, and that's what you can see. Everybody's that stupid, and they own all these other countries are doing the same thing. So the Euro's doing this, the Germany, England's doing this, Japan's doing this, China's doing this, Russia was doing this, and then they went and they said, no, we're going to back it by gold. All of a sudden, their currency is the best currency in the world, and their economy is getting much better. Funny how that works. They go to gold, and all of a sudden, it's got value. But every other country, freaking Sri Lanka, Greece, Germany, England, Italy, France, the whole Euro system, Swiss, Japan and China are all on this. They're all doing the same bullshit mistake, but I know not to do it. You're telling me and my teacher and a handful of students that were in the class are the only ones that know this little secret of Austrian economics and don't. You got to back your money by gold. And every country in the world is this stupid. Venezuela, print your money. I mean, this just stinks to high heaven. It's all manipulated and controlled. It's very obvious that these people cannot be that stupid. So I think that's what's happening. So let's talk about the 3 types of inflation. Money supply increases faster than the price. So they're printing, but the prices aren't showing it. Is demand pull, prices rise, inflation. So people get money and they go run out and buy cans of tuna fish. As they're selling more tuna, they then raise the price on it. There's the money supply equals the price. This is cost push. So the prices are going up with the money. And the most desperate, the worst stage is hyperinflation. The money supply increases, prices increase faster. So I'm printing these, but when I go buy this isn't. So I'm really printing in overdrive, and this is going up to 80, then it goes to 90, and it goes to 100, and I print, and this goes up to 150, and then they print more, and this goes to 200. Then I need a wheelbarrow to get milk and bread, aka Germany, and that's what happens. That's the worst step. That's the hyperinflation. People in Germany would get paid at lunch and get paid at the end of the day. And at lunch, they'd get paid. They'd run to the store and buy their bread and milk and tuna and whatever else. And let's say milk was $2 at that time. By the end of the day, they'd get paid again, and it would be $3. And now they're buying more because they're buying in fear that it's going to be $5. So I better buy it at $3 before it hits $5. I'm already at that point. My freezer's full of meat, chicken, steaks, and veggies. I don't know what else to buy because I eat a lot of avocados and, red and yellow peppers and things like that I don't even know what to do with them because they won't last in the fridge for, a week. So I don't know what to do with that, how to survive that way. But it's not, maybe there's not a food storage, maybe there is, but I know the food's going to be more expensive because these morons are printing it into death. So the plan is, I think, to come out with digital currency, but JP Morgan will never allow it because they want this. They don't want digital is nothing. They don't own anything. They want to own it. I don't want a digital Mano card. I want the real McCoy. So those are the three, and the worst is the hyperinflation, where the prices increase faster than they can print the money and makes the money worth less. Expectations drive the whole system, meaning we all think what's going to happen. That's why they don't tell us about it, because if everybody knew what they were fucking doing by printing this and by raising the interest rates, if everybody knew the real reason, nobody would own this. Everybody would own this, or everybody would own this. You'd run to this as safe haven. Nobody would be into this, and the U.S. economy would collapse, and gold and silver would be $100,000 an ounce, and the government would be thrown out. You can see what's happening in look at the UK. They keep throwing out the prime minister. Well, that's going to happen here very soon. So that's the problem. What is stagflation? You hear about that. That's high inflation. So this is worthless, and high unemployment. And that's where we're headed to. The Keynesians don't believe in it. They believe you can't have both. They, for some reason, don't understand business that, well, wait, it's $30,000 for the Camry. I can't sell it. I got to sell it at 20 because that's the market, but I'm losing money. How do I keep my shareholders happy? Is to lay off people, to cut costs. That's the only way I can cut. I don't have any cost to cut. All right, the steel and everything, my electricity's fixed. The steel I need to make the cars. Of course, the managers won't cut themselves. So I got to cut the production. I got to cut the labor. I got to cut the people. That makes unemployment go up. That's what stagflation is. There's three types of inflation. There's specie. You can have inflation on gold if you find a bunch of gold. The Spanish did in 1500. A lot of gold entered Europe from Africa and other places, causing gold inflation. Spain went bankrupt. They did not invest in the production of people and machines. Debts increased based on income increase. So that's a very unusual thing, that all of a sudden there'd be all this huge amount of gold coming in, and then the demand dropped because they didn't see the value. But that's very unusual. The basement is what the Romans did. The Romans had the gold, and they said, you know what, we're going to take a little bit off. We're going to take a little bit more. We're going to take, until this wasn't gold anymore, this was copper. And that's how they lost, is their money wasn't gold, so they couldn't pay their armies. The Germans had the gold. The Germans bought the army invaded. That was the end of Rome. So because they fucked up their currency and took all the gold out of the gold piece, out of the money, because they didn't have this. They didn't have this bullshit. They just had this. And if you take the gold away, now it's not gold anymore. Well, I don't want copper. It's not the copper standard. It's the gold standard. That's how Rome ended. Nero started it. Burnt houses of wood to put up marble. silver and gold was 100%. Gold was 100%. Then silver and gold was less than 100, debasing. Gold was less than 100. That's the inflation. So that's when you take gold away from this, that's specie inflation. But that's not what's happening. Fiat money is when the government runs the presses. China first. Government prints money to cover the deficit. So you go to a war. War costs because there's no revenue. It's expense. You got to pay for the bullets and the guns. You got to pay for the soldiers. You got to pay your Navy and your Army and the tanks, and you need gas. Well, it's all expense. There's no revenue coming in. You're not getting paid to do this. So how do you pay for it? Well, they printed the money to pay for it. And then there's fiduciary credit inflation, which is the most, that's bank credit. So this is all credit. It's all IOUs. That's what causes the trade cycle. And that was what my final exam was. I'll get into that on another show because it's pretty thorough. I did want to talk real briefly about the Romans' collapse because that's very much what's happening now. Where is that? I got so much notes. I'm starting to highlight them in green when I want to get to the stuff I need. The Roman era. So there was two Roman eras. And you're going to say how familiar this sounds to what's going on now. There is a republic from 250 to 68 BC before Christ, before zero. That was what you have. You had the senators, and it was all Congress and Senate, and there was no dictator, no emperor. Then the empire came in 69 to 500 AD. That was Julius Caesar. That was when you had dictators. That's when you had that asshole and Gladiator instead of. So that movie's about trying to get it back to a republic, not an empire. And that's why you saw that asshole, try to take charge and Gladiators and kill Maximus, Circus Maximus at the Gladiator at the Forum. And that's what you got. You got corruption and all that stuff. The republic was about low taxes, free trade, leaders were elected, a republic, free enterprise. Rome grew very quickly. Does that sound like us from 1776 to about 1971? We were a republic. We had leaders elected, free enterprise, low taxes, and free trade. Well, the taxes raised in 1913 when the Federal Reserve came into play. Nutty Federal Reserve, but that's what it was. Rome grew very quickly. It was the center of law, finance, everything. A constitution, little interference from the government. You could only be elected to one office one time. Sounds like a pretty good idea. 2 president councils, one every other month. Afraid to give one man too much power. Sounds like a great system. Too bad we don't have that anymore. That's our thought with having a president is checked and balanced by the Congress and the Senate, so he doesn't have too much power. Although Biden's going around all that, just doing executive orders and not allowing things to go to votes, he's getting too much power. Julius Caesar, the first man, got too much power. Augustus Caesar, no wars. Then Nero came in. We can call him Biden, very corrupt, or we can call him Clinton, or we can call him Obama, whatever. They all go to the name Nero. Very corrupt, wood to marble. So he wanted to build a monument to himself. He burnt the town down. He blamed the Christians. He debased the currency. After Nero, every other empire inflated the money. All the politicians bought votes. That's what's going on now, isn't it? They're all buying the votes. Rome became a welfare state. Social Security, we'll give you money, da, 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 da. Everything's got to be fair. Diocletian Empire wanted to stop inflation, divided the empire. So Diocletian comes in, he says, we got to get back to this republic. So he divides the empire, inflated, put in wage and price controls. They destroyed the Roman economy. Am I missing? Maybe I'm missing this. Anyway, that's what happens with divided. I don't know. I know there's something missing there, but he divided the empire and he put in wage and price controls. They destroyed the Roman economy because if you say you can only sell this for $40, so I'm putting in price controls. You can't sell this for more than 40. Well, wait a minute. You've inflated the dollar. It now costs me 60. I can't sell it for 40. My costs are more. I'm in business to make money. I can't make money if I can only sell it for 40. I got to go out of business. Well, then there's no economy, right? The economy is based on me buying your goods, me buying your goods, me buying the computer, me buying everything is based on me buying stuff, and people are in business. Topps baseball cards, they produced it, you bought it. Gold, my mouse, my computer, my pen. That's what the economy is. You're buying all that. And if you price control it and say, tuna, you can only charge $1, they won't make it because it costs them. Business is about, it costs me $5, I can sell it for 10. I'll go into business. I'll hire people. Once you fuck that up and you say, well, you can only sell it for $4, even though it cost you $5, or in inflation, it now costs you 10, but you can only sell it for 5. You just fucked everybody because the guys who are on the other side selling, Say's Law, you want a blue shirt, I'll make it. But wait a minute, I got to charge so much. And if I can't charge the $25 because it cost me 20, I got to go out of business because I can't make money. And we're all in business to make money. That's what business is. Otherwise, I'll just hold on to my dollar. I won't invest it in that. This is why you never tax rich people. Rich people are the ones that invent the companies that we all work for. And if we tax them, they'll keep their money. They won't invest, and we won't have jobs because there won't be a Microsoft. They'll just keep the money. That's why you don't tax rich people. So Constantine the Great moved the capital to Constantinople, which we know is Turkey. He issued a gold currency. So this is the other part of my note. He issues a gold currency in the East. He took them off the price controls, but not in the West. The East fell in 476. Big government kills the economy. The empire was the welfare state. So back to my initial. There was two people, Diocletian and Constantine the Great. Diocletian put in price controls and inflated, and it killed the Roman Empire. Constantine moves the capital, issues a gold currency in the East. He took them off the price controls, not the West. The East fell, the West is very successful. So what it's saying is Keynesian economics says price in gold and inflate, It doesn't work. Constantine the Great says, you know what, I'm going back to the gold standard and no price and control. We let the market run everything. And it was very, very successful. Big government kills the economy. And that's what we have is huge government because they get in the way. They want their taxes. We got to pay for them. You got a Department of Defense. I mean, it's a million people. We got to pay their checks. Well, they need to raise tax, but you don't raise taxes to raise tax revenue. You lower them because the more taxes that they ask us for, it takes money out of me buying the coffee. I don't have the money for the coffee mug. I paid it in taxes, and they don't spend money on taxes properly. Right? So they get, what does the government do with your taxes? We'll build roads. We'll put it to education. We botched both of them up, that they don't generate revenue. What the fuck are you doing with my tax dollars? You're paying people to build a road. That's not what you do with the money. You buy the Canadian Club, you buy the mug, you buy the gold, you buy the pen, you buy the mouse, which leads to businesses being more successful, hiring more people, and they pay tax. So now it's a domino effect where everybody's paying more in tax, but I got more money, so I go to Target and I buy I buy this for $9, not 10, and it forces competition. And the company that made that for 9 is profited from it. The company that makes it by 10 has to get their shit together to get the price down, better quality. We all benefit at the end. That's the whole point of Adam Smith. So that is how the Roman Empire gets killed. They inflate the money and a welfare state. Sounds familiar. Corrupt politicians. Sounds familiar. That's the lobbyists, right? They give, here's $1 million. Make sure Coca-Cola has these little perks, or Microsoft, or whoever you want. What is that? There's no place for that. They should not be. It should be illegal to have lobbyists. It's not in anybody's best interest. The market decides. Me and you should decide everything. Do we want smoking? Well, if you do, fine. If you want to smoke in a restaurant, fine. Is it really unhealthy for you? Well, we'll see. Does the person want to really smoke and destroy the food quality? Well, maybe he smokes outside. I'm a good guy. I like to smoke. I'll smoke outside and then come back in to eat my meal. I won't smoke everybody. People are good people. They don't want to hurt. If they know it's bad, they won't do. You don't need to tell them. That's my whole point. Nobody wants to be told, hey, Andrew, the day-to-day grind. So what are you doing? You want to pay me in Canadian dollars, which you can't. Well, okay. I charge, it's $100 a week. Okay. And there's 15 weeks left. It's $300 for a month, and you'd have another 3 months. That would cost you $900. So I'm trying to give you the best deal, which is buy the rest of the year. So the rest of the year is $750. So I'm going to give it to you for $450. I'm going to take $300 off. If you bought a month, it would be $300. You'd have to buy at least 3 months because you got to get to the bowls and the Super Bowl. You're getting all the way through the Super Bowl and all the way through the college playoff for what I'm asking. I'm only asking you for $450. What are the alternatives but give it to society or else? What are we talking about? Are you talking about smoking or what are you talking about? I'm talking about Teaserking. And what you need to buy, I lowered the price to $450. Life, what are the alternatives but give it to the society or else? The money? Well, you go out and do what I'm doing. I'm educating people. I'm making your life better by telling you what's going on. I'm making you money with football. I'm helping you with economics, so you buy gold to protect yourself. That's how. That's one way to make life better. Is I'm making life better for everybody. I don't charge. This is free. You're getting free advice. You're getting free football. The picks, you don't know what I'm betting, so you pay to see what my bets are, and then you can go with it. Bought gold. Now wait. You're waiting for gold to go up? Okay. Well, tell me what you want to do. You want my picks? Fine. I'm happy to give it to you. Work, work, work. Yes. You work for somebody. You can work for yourself or buy enough gold and silver that you can retire when it goes to the moon. And I've explained, if you go back to the beginning of the show, you'll see why. But basically, this is losing value and this is an asset. This is just for you, Andrew. Mint condition Bobby Orr card. If I get this, now you can see sharp corners, sharp picture, and very nicely centered. Right? The back, there's no stamp on it. It's a little bit off center on the back, but not on the front. I don't know how much they take off, but you can see the front. This is a perfectly 68 Bobby Orr. If I get a PSA 10 on it, I'll retire. Well, all right. Well, I can send it to you, but you're going to have to pay for it. I can't give it to you. It's an asset. So I'll tell you what, I'll give it to you for, you give me 5 ounces of gold, I'll give it to you. Don't have the Gretzky rookie. I prefer the Orr. I'm a Bobby Orr guy, not a Gretzky. I do have the Lemieux rookie, the Roy rookie, the Ken Dryden rookie, and a few other Orr cards. But I don't have the Gretzky rookie. I think I have the Gretzky third and fourth year ones that are in mint condition. I just need to get them graded. And this was the other card that you missed, was my Mantle card, which is in perfect condition. So this is these two. I probably won't have to work much soon with those two cards. What else do I got? Now, this is what I wanted to show you is graded cards. He's not graded. He doesn't get the value. This guy is a Roger Staubach. What is the year? 1976 PSA 8. It's already graded. So you can see it's a little off center, but it's already graded. There's no risk. I don't know what I could get for this, but if I got this coming back as a PSA 9 or 10, I don't have to work anymore because there aren't many 68s. It's hard to get in the condition, but that's an asset. So you take this to buy that or to buy this. That's the point of getting out of money, which is I'm trying to teach you is get into this or get into this and get the fuck out of this because this is now worth $20, not the 100 it was. And these have both gone up a lot. This is, I don't know what this is again, because I got to get it graded. You can't even find a PSA 10 in this. If I could, it's got to be over $1 million. And this, well, this is gold. So we know this is going up to 50,000 an ounce. But you want to get out of this. This is what I'm trying to teach you. Gordie Howe. I do have a Gordie Howe. I think I have a Gordie Howe in this, I believe. Decent condition. I didn't get a lot. Who wins World Series? Who has the better pitching? I'd say Houston. I'll take Verlander. They're clutch. And they'll bang the garbage bag probably. So if you want the picks, I'm happy to give you the deal, $450, but it's Canadian dollars worth $135. So if you gave me $450 Canadian, you'd be giving me like $300. That's what I sell it for the month. So I want, we can go 400 US and you can do the math on that, but you're going to pay me in US anyway, because PayPal is probably going to convert it. So you can give me 400 US, which let's say 500 Canadian. Give me 500 Canadian. We can do that. I want to help you, but I cannot. I'm 650 now, and I got a bunch of people that bought for 650. I gave them the discount. 750 for the year is extremely low. It's usually 1,100. So you're getting 1,100 for roughly, if you do 500 Canadians, like 400 American. I can't help it. Now, if you want to give me gold and silver, I'll take that, and we can work that deal out. But you'll have to mail it to me. I bet 1,000 on Astro. Oh, so you do have money, or carries money anyway. So what are you bitching about money for? What are your odds? You bet 1,000. Laugh out loud. So you didn't bet the 1,000. Okay. All right. Well, you need to borrow the money from Kerry. You're not going to get rich with Canadian dollars. As bad as this shit is, your Canadian's got to be worth it. 151. What's that? That's Carrie's money is what she's got, $1.5 million. Is that what she's got in Canadian? So it's almost worth 600,000 US. So she's doing well. All right. Let's hold this for another show. It's 2 hours in. So we'll start with golden capitalism. What it is, Say's law. We talked about economics. We talked about money. And this is what I did, Andrew. This is how much this is. This is paper crap. That's what this is. I'm not going to tear this because this will buy me $20 worth of goods, but I did that. $500 profit from my money. I don't understand. So you make profit, you'll give me 500? Is that what you're saying? Well, I normally you pay and then you get the picks. and then you bet what you want. Oh, the World Series. So you bet the Astros. So Verlander, they probably got a better pitching staff. So there you go. All right, so take the profit and then buy the picks. Okay, you can do that. Or buy a bunch of silver. I did buy some maple leafs, by the way, 1 ounces. They're pretty. They're all shiny here. They look really like it's really attractive. Like, well, these are in cases, so you can't really get the full effect because it's a little bit. You can see a little. This is the U.S. one, but the maple leaf was really shiny. But I never really worry that these are counterfeit. If you ever go and you see this and the color is way off, like you can tell this is gold. But if you ever go and you see and it looks really off color, it's probably not real, and I wouldn't buy it. I would only buy one that. No money, no life, sink or swim. No money. Why don't you have money? You've been listening to me. I've been giving you picks all the time. You should be a rich man with my picks. Or now, you need to improve your skill set, Andrew. Or if you hit the gold, and once the gold goes up, then you can retire because you won't do that. If you don't have money, well, okay, so let's help Andrew. Why don't you have money? Yeah, I understand that. Money's freedom. I get that, but why don't you? So you do have money. So now you're confusing me. No money, no life. Oh, so, okay. You're just saying, yeah, well, I understand. This is freedom. Why do you think I bought this? This is freedom because this is going to have a value of dog doo-doo. So this is going out, right? This value is going to be like the Germans. You're going to need a wheelbarrow. Your only out is this. This is what I'm telling you. So that's how you need to protect yourself. That's the whole point. Or if you happen to have these guys, you also have protection because these are assets. Would you rather have this or Bitcoin? And believe me, if these come back PSA 10, these are 1,000 times more limited than freaking Bitcoin. Bitcoin's 21 million. I guarantee you, if you get this as a PSA 10, there's maybe 30 of them. Maybe 30 in the world PSA 10s, ors or mantles for that time period because they were all off center and everything. So I looked for months to find that card way back in the 90s when I was married and my wife would be the eyes and I'd say, it's off center. I don't want it. I want something mint. And she got me these 2 mint cards. And I knew, and before it was graded, and I knew the mint condition would help because it was more limited and it would gain more value. And the dealers were stupid. They weren't really adjusting for a mint mantle versus a regular mantle. They'd go to the Beckett, see it's $150. That's what I would be charged. And I bet you I paid $150 for this. And it was because I needed a real mantle. But they weren't graded at the time. So that's what you needed. But they didn't charge. If it was off center, they didn't adjust the price, or they didn't raise the price for mint condition because they thought Beckett was mint condition. So they just, instead of the 150, if it was off center, I might get it for 100. But if it was in this condition, then I'd pay the 150. They should have charged me 1,000 for that condition. All you have is the present. I live in the moment. All you have is the present moment. Who would buy it? The cards. Carrie and I, very fortunate with our lives. Well, I'm happy for you. Who would buy the cards? You'd go on eBay and sell them. Who buys Rolexes? Who buys your house? If you own a Mercedes, who buys that? There's always a buyer. You just got to find the market. This will be on eBay, or I go to the coin store. This I go on eBay, or maybe the coin store buys it. I don't know, but I'll go to eBay. The first coin store I went to buy my gold was in Ann Arbor, and he shows me he's got a Sandy Koufax 1956, but the corner was all wrinkled. And we looked in eBay, and we saw, it's probably worth about $1,700, even wrinkled, because it's a rookie. And where can you find a 56 Koufax in any condition? So that's really, so maybe I could sell it to him. I'd love to just Trade them. Okay, you can have the mantle. Let's assume it's worth 100,000 and give me 50 ounces of gold, and you can have the mantle. I would do that, but I want to get it graded, because if I get it back as a 10, it's worth over $1 million. So that's the point, and I'm waiting on that. Coins, yes. Well, coins, you go to the coin store, you go to eBay, or we form a club here, and people go, I'll buy it from you, and then we work out a price, and then we ship it, and then the guy PayPals us, and then we do that. I think that's very much in demand. I wanted to open up like a silver store. Detroit's economy is okay for now, but who's going to buy a car now? As I said, GM and Ford have gone to electric vehicles. Nobody wants it. So that was my first thing about Say's Law. You don't make malinvestments. You don't build an electric car if there's no demand for the electric car. Why is this worth $1 million if it's a PSA 10? Because there's demand for Mickey fucking Mantle in a PSA 10. The whole New York state would want it, right? Everybody in New York and everywhere else, all the Mantle fans would take it in a heartbeat. There's demand for it. Who wants an electric car? Nobody wants an electric car, because I'm happy with my gas car. Where can I recharge it? How much is it going to cost? What if my battery goes? How much is that going to cost me? How much is the electric car? And what if I'm driving? So you're driving from, let's say you're driving from Ottawa to Toronto. And I know that's what, 4 or 5 hours, and you need to charge it. Where are you going to find it? In the cow pastures, driving along the 401, where are you going to find a charging station? Good luck. If I go from here to Toronto, you get to Windsor, and then from Windsor, it's like a 2-hour drive to London. What if I need a charge? There's nothing but cows and just farmland. And then past London, it's another 2 hours to Mississauga and Toronto, or I can go up to Niagara Falls. Where am I going to find a charging station? I'm not going to find a charge. I'm fucked. So who wants it? Gas stations I can fill up I could fill up in Detroit and get there on one tank. I could fill up in London, and I know I wouldn't need gas by the time I got to Toronto. But electric, how long is my charge going to? And what happens when the battery goes? And now I need a new battery for $5,000. Who the fuck wants to deal with that? You see quite a few electric cars up. Well, because you're socialist. You guys believe, you probably wear masks thinking that. But do you have charging stations? And how expensive are they? Truck stops. Lots of highway gas stations have plug-in. Okay. So if you drove from Ottawa to Toronto, you're gonna do it on one charge, or no? See, I don't believe that I need an electric car, because I don't believe the pollutants from the car. I believe if they were really bad, it would have already have taken place. So what the socialists are trying to say is, well, it's like the frog in the cold water that gets to a boil versus throwing them in the boiling water. So you're trying to say the water's heating up, and I'm trying to say is the water would have already heated up if there was a problem with gas cars, and I believe they've made it much safer and cleaner. I don't see stuff. Nobody's dropping dead because you're walking. I'm outside walking. I'm not dropping dead from all the problems. Lots of highway gas stations here with plug-in. Yeah, okay. And what if you're in the backwoods going to Edmonton, or, good luck finding a gas station. You're on the 401 going to Toronto is one thing. You're up north going to Edmonton, you're in big trouble, or Calgary. I'm just saying there's a lot of places like that where you'll go hours without a gas station, and maybe you have a gas station, but does it have the electric charger? How does a portable charger work? So you charge it. I don't understand. So I have a thing I've charged at home, and then I put it in the car, and I put the electric into this portable charger. And how long does that take to charge it? And does it charge it all the way full? Yeah, so I bring it in the car. If I need the charge, it charges. Does it fill it up? I mean, does it say like full and empty? How does that, like, I know gas, I know when I'm full, and I know as I go down to empty that I need to find a gas station. Does that tell you the same on the battery charge? Probably. It does on the phone charger. It tells you it's weak. Anyway, but is there demand for it? I don't know. Maybe that's where Ford and GM is selling to Canada and in Europe, I guess. But is there demand for it? Did people want it, or is it just here's what you got? And do you still have gas powered cars? So I don't know, but I don't know what the economy is like here. I think it's okay, but again, GM and Ford have switched to electric cars. Is that going to keep them afloat? I don't know. I used to work at Mercedes here. They're still in business. I don't know for how long. And then they made trucks and diesels. So and buses, big trucks and, like Mack trucks. So I don't know, but there should be a lot of demand because people need trucks to move their stuff. I don't enjoy paying $1.70 a liter. Well, but how much is your electric going to cost you? And believe me, that price is going to go up. It's like a cell phone. When it first came out, it was like free, and then it slowly goes up. But the $1.70 a liter is because your dollar is worthless, right? So I don't know if you and Carrie have money in the bank. All I can say is if you do, get it the fuck out and put it in a safe in your house or whatever. But you're not going to be able to well, you've already went through the banking stuff with that trucking thing. We get oil from Saudi. Okay. And what's the point? We sitting on it here in Canada. Okay, but why is it $1.70 a liter then? So you're what, 5 liters for a gallon. So you're paying times 5. You're paying about $8 a gallon. Here we pay $4 a gallon. They shut down well, why are they doing that? They want they're trying to force people into electric. But there's a bigger thing is they're trying to force people off of oil. Who does that hurt? The Russians and the Saudis. So they're trying to hurt Russia and Saudi by getting rid of oil, is what it sounds like. And move to the electric, and they're just using this magic act saying, oh, well, we need the electric car for the environment. That's all bullshit. But if you dig into it and think, why do they want us off of oil? Who owns the oil? Well, the Saudis, the Russians, Venezuela, and the U.S. has oil. So why do we want to move ourselves off of oil? So 3.78 liters to a gallon. Oh, I thought it was 5. All right. So let's times it by 4 to round it. 170, 340, 680. So you got a lot of taxes in there because you got to pay for your free health care, which isn't free. I just paid $3.75 on Saturday. It ebbs and flows, but I can find places where it's a lot cheaper. How's your food? And your other, your electricity is probably higher. Some is free health. Yeah, but that's just going to the doctor. My uncle lived in Toronto and had needed dialysis because he was having diabetes. His kidneys shut down. And I said to him, well, it's okay. It's free. And he said, it's not free. If I want to get dialysis, I have to pay for it. So food is amazing. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean it's expensive or is it cheap? What are you telling me, Andrew? Best beef, chicken, pork in the world. No, we all know that's Argentina beef. Even when I go to Amsterdam, they have signs up when it's Argentinian beef. But that's the best. Canadian's not good. You put it with filler. I don't like the Canadian beef. And Hey, Benila, where the hell have you been? I got caught up at the chiropractor and missed the whole. Well, I brought something for you. Here you go. This is, and look at the condition of this. Perfect corners, nice centering job. This is an authentic 1968 tops. Now, this is where your money should be. Now, if this comes back graded 10, here's a PSA. So I brought this so you understand. Here's a PSA 8, Roger Staubach, 76, right? But you can see what graded means. So I know this is a PSA 8. I don't have any worry about it. I don't know what this is. Is this an 8, a 9, or a 10? But I guarantee you it's perfect. Look at the centering, the corners. It's a perfect fucking card, right? And this is what you put it in hard plastic. So if this comes back at 10, this is worth $1 million because there ain't no 10s. There aren't very many Mantle 10s, especially in 68. There aren't very many 10s. Even if it comes back a 9, it's probably worth $1 million. So that's what you move your money into. And then you missed the best part of the show when I did this to show you that it's paper crap. And the other thing was to show you that this is worth about $30 now. And then I brought you this. So now this is what you're going to sleep with, Bobby. This is a gold eagle. And it says it on it. This is actually, that's a ½ ounce. So as you can see, it says 1 ounce on it, right? So 1 ounce of gold, and this is the eagle. So this is 1,800 on its way up to 50,000. And you can see how pretty it is. And enough with the silver, get some real money. Sorry, Andrew. It's expensive, but when on sale, yeah, I got my freezer full of meat that's on sale. AAA was the free play. The free play, I haven't given it yet. I'll give it probably Thursday. But again, you got to meet me halfway. Give me 450. Well, I want 400 American. I'll give you that. So from 450. So that's what, 550. Give me 550 Canadian, and you got a deal. Bobby, nice card. By the way, how do I tell when it's a rookie card? All right, give me 500 Canada. Give me 500 Canada. You send it on PayPal. It'll translate to American. I'll take that. That's fine. You send it. I said laugh out loud. What do you want to give me? You want to give me $5 for my picks? I don't think so. You want to make money or not? I mean, I'm giving you, to make money. How do I know it's a rookie card? You've got to understand the player. So if you look on the card, you can see his rookie season was 1951. So that's how you would know that he started. So I think it's a 51 or 52 tops. It's worth like $20 million is his rookie card, if you can even find it. The same thing here. So if you go to Staubach, you can see 1965. Well, he was in the Navy. So his rookie card he started 69 on it. This is unique because he was on the Navy, but it's usually the first year he plays. So we knew Barry Sanders was 1989, Emmitt Smith's 1990, Joe Montana's 81. It's the first card. So even though Montana got drafted and started in, I think, 79 or 80, they didn't make a card for him until he started playing. So in 81 was his rookie card. So if you go on eBay and you type in Mickey Mantle rookie, Joe Montana rookie, it'll give you the year of the rookie card so you can figure that out. So again, the difference between the two is I know what I got here. I know it's a PSA 8, and you only want to get PSA graded. Here I assume it's mint, but I don't know it. And that's why the value is not as high. If I got it PSA graded and it comes back 9 or 10, I'm a millionaire. And that's what I suggest instead of fucking Bitcoin. What are you fucking around with Bitcoin for? Now, I already went to a show in 1990 and got that, so you're not going to find it at a show now. However, this you're still going to find at the coin store, and you can make $1 million that way, but you got to buy enough of them. And as I said, so this is worth 100 down to 10, and this is worth 1,600 in fantasy land, but in real dollars, it's only worth, says 2,000. I think it's worth 10 grand already. That's why you keep buying them. And then the Russian exchange, which I already showed. So if you back up on the show, there's a Russian, a precious metals exchange where they're going to price it in physical and get away from the U.S. And then you'll see it really go through the roof. And the same with silver. So that'll be the key for it to finally hit real market value, physical, not the COMEX paper that I keep arguing with people about who think the COMEX is the actual price of gold, or they want to hold on to their US dollars. So I hope you got your money out of the bank, at least put it in your safe. And then you want to take this money and you want to invest it in something that's an asset. So what you're doing is you want to get $200. If you put it in stocks or CDs, you're going to lose money on it because the stocks will never hold their value. They're going to drop. People will need money, and all they do is put it here to the stocks. Or you can do this. These are real assets, or your Rolex. This is like a Rolex, the Mickey, and this is real money. So this is really going to go through the roof because this is what people aren't going to run to the mantle as much as they'll run to the gold. But as you know, if you had this in New York, if you walk down Times Square, you'd have a lineup wanting to buy this card, especially a 10 or a 9. So that's what you want to do is you want to move your money before it becomes worthless, before this is worth $5 or the $1 bills turn into garbage. You want to get into assets. And that's today's lesson. Well, Andrew, what do you want? I mean, give me 500 Canadian. That's what? That's 350. You're getting 20 weeks. You're getting through the Super Bowl. It's $100 a week. So, you want to buy a week? Now, I'm not going to give you free picks because you won't buy my picks. I give a free pick on the site. If that's what you want, do it that way. But you don't know if it's a lock. You don't know what it is. You don't know how to bet it. I help you bet it too. I help you win. That's the difference. I know how to win and you don't. So whatever you want to do, Andrew, you send me, and whatever you send me is what I'm going to give you a password for. So if you give me $100, you'll get a week. If you give me 500 Canadian, I'll give you the rest of the year. Whatever you want, Andrew. You got money, you don't, I don't know. You keep wanting free plays. I'm not going to give you free plays. I give one free play on the site. Do you watch Robert because he loves silver? I don't like him. I think he's kind of a liberal. I tend to watch. I never watch Peter Schiff. He's a communist, or Rick Rule, or that other lawyer guy. I only watch the two Brits. Are the only ones that have a clue what's really going on. He said, now is the time to accumulate. Yeah. I've been saying that for a year. But does he give you the example? Does he tell you about what's going on in Russia and China? I see he doesn't. He doesn't really know. I wouldn't listen to him, really. Yeah, I know. I was watching. I kind of go through to see the guys, but I only want my two guys, Alistair McLeod and Andrew Maguire. The only two to listen to. They explain it. They explain what Russia is going to the new. They're going to the new commodity system where they're going to price the physical price of gold and silver on an exchange, and you don't hear that from Robert Kiyosaki or Rick Rule is the biggest idiot I've ever heard. He's clueless. He's a scammer. He's trying to get you to buy an ETF that he's trying to tell you that that's physical, and it's not. It's crap. Andrew Maguire, yeah. Here, Andrew Maguire. He's the guy I gave you. You've got his videos. Here's what you need, Bobby. Palantir bought $50 million in gold coins. Okay, I don't have to say another word. Nobody has to say another word. This is a company attached to the CIA, and they're scared, so they put their money and bought $50 million in gold bars. 50 million. Enough said. All right, let me get you to Andy McGuire. This guy is good too. Egan von. He's a Swiss guy, but he's an Austrian. He's very good. If you can get this guy, as good as gold, Australia. Go to that and then get the subscription. You'll see it. But that's where Andrew McGuire is mostly on. Fuck. I don't want mine. Where's my like videos? I know there's a place to find like videos, but oh, here it is. Okay, so the top two guys are who you want. The first guy, they're both Austrian. The top guy is the best, and then Andrew McGuire is the second best. So these are the two that know what's going on and listen to. That's also, I gave you that, Kinesis money. These are like Austrian economists that are bankers in the UK. So they're free to talk what's really going on. These are the guys. The other guys, they're just fucking salesmen. They don't know what's going. I always give them negatives because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. No, I don't think so. As good as gold, Australia is these two guys, and they're Australian, and they have him on as he's like the director of investments, and he tells everybody what's going on. On as good as gold gets, as good as gold Australia, and the other guys Kinesis or whatever. And but they've been on some other channels, and it's basically the same thing. They're saying, look, the Andrew McGuire goes, how much physical do you own? Because that's your only safe haven. But this is the only freedom you're going to have, and you're only safe. See, but these are, when he says they're not invest. First of all, this is real money. This is not real money. This is paper bullshit. That's why I ripped it up. This is real money. This is an investment. So the difference between this is where you need to go to eBay to sell it, or a card store, or a card, a card show, and then sell it to a dealer, or maybe you stand outside and go, hey, kid, you want a mantle? Well, do you have $1 million on you, first of all? So you go to a card show where this you can sell on eBay or go to a coin store. I really would probably prefer eBay because the coin store probably is he's the seller. It's like going to a card show and selling to a dealer. He's a seller. He doesn't want to buy. He's not going to give you the value. You want to sell it to a buyer. So you want to sell it to the kid who's at the table who wants to buy. That's your target. And the same thing with this. You want to go on eBay where people want it. And that's where it's really you're going to get a good value. But this is an investment. This is eBay. This This is Bitcoin. This is money. That's the difference with this. This will go through the roof because it's going to take more of these before this drops to $5 to buy this. The only reason this is low is it's being price fixed down by the government and JP Morgan to keep it low. So you'll stay in this so you can be a slave to the government because they want to make you a slave. And I'll give you food and we're going to basically blow up the currency. They'll come out with US dollar too is what will happen. That's what happened in Germany, and that's what happens in all these other countries. They replace it, but if it's fiat, if they don't back it by gold, it's still bullshit. You need to back it by gold, so simply just own gold. For instance, if gold went to $20,000, will a coin store try to negotiate or something, or will he actually be willing to pay 20 grand? He'll be willing to pay 20 grand. He might pay you 19.5 and take his little commission, but if the spot's 20 grand, you're going to get 20 grand because he's going to sell it, because at that point there'll be a line out his store of people wanting to give him 20 grand for gold, because once that happens, people will be scrambling to get it and don't care what the price is. Where what I am is I'm ahead of the curve and I'm saying buy it now while it's still affordable and you can still get it, because once it's gone, people will panic because they're going to say, fuck, my dollar, this is gone to nothing. This has gone to zero. How do I live? I need this. This is what's going to feed me, pay my rent. I got to get it. So yes, he'll pay you 20 grand. He'll pay you whatever the spot is because he wants to get it. Think about it. Me and you are running a gold store. Well, what happened? Everybody bought it. We need inventory to sell. Now we're going to mark it up. So we might give me 19.5. Let's give our customers 19.5 and then we're going to sell it for 21,000. Just like he's doing now. He's buying it. He's buying it for 20 and he's selling it for 25, or in the US, or for this one in silver, he's selling it for 35, right? But he's paying probably 30 for it, or 25. He's not paying spot. And he's not making a lot on the transaction. He'll do the same with gold, because there's going to be a line out his store through the parking lot like you've never seen, people wanting gold and silver. So believe me, once people start freaking out with their money, they're going to need gold and silver. And once the light goes on, now here, I turn the light on, right? I'm saying this is where we're headed. People don't understand that, think, oh, this will keep the value of $100. And I'm saying this is going to go to this. All right. So this is going to drop to that, because that's what inflation does. It fucks the value of the currency, because the more you print, the less it's worth. And that's what we have. The demand will be through the roof, right? Because it's the only safe haven. People right now are in stocks. So what they've done is they've traded. You'll enjoy the first 2 hours. That's what I talk about. People have said, what do I do with this? So they put the money in the stock market because they want 5 of these, right? They want to turn 100 into 500. They have no idea how to do it. So they buy stock. They buy Microsoft. Okay. Oh, good. Look, it's worth 300-400. That's why they're in stock. But what happens, as I said, when the costs go up and they can't pass it on, so a $30,000 Camry, they can't charge 30. Nobody can afford it. They got to lower their prices back to the 22, but the costs have gone to 25. They're fucked. Well, what's going to happen to their stock? It's going to tank because they're losing money, and I won't make money. I got to sell that stock. So they get buried, and people will then need money. And as people need money, well, wait, I used to have 100. Now it's in stock. I'm going to sell my Microsoft stock because I need money to pay rent and food. And because this is losing value, you'll sell your asset, which is your stock, which is going to tank the market, which is why the market's going to tank. This little fella here and this little fella here are just going to smile and say, I think I just doubled in value. I just quadrupled, and I just went up 20 times in value. I went from let's call it 2,000 an ounce to 50. I just went up 25 times conservatively. And when the Russians have their little exchange where they're valuing physical, not the paper bullshit, once the physical has the value, it's all done. then this will be, and once people see it at 20 grand, they'll run into it. 20 will go to 50 and like that in a day. And this will go to zero in a day. And that's the problem. You don't really have time. It's not the slow burning kettle to get to boiling. It's the panic and, oh shit, I got to get out of this. Everybody will run to the bank, and the bank says, I don't have your money. Sorry, Barry, Bobby, I don't have your money. I don't have, you got $500,000 in here. I don't have it. No, it's gone. I gave it away. What do you mean you gave it away? You're fucked basically, because you can't get your money out because I don't have it, because the bank gets the money from the Federal Reserve and they've just boomed this up. So the banks are sitting there going, well, I need the money. I'm not giving it to Bobby. I'm keeping it. So they keep the money. Look at China. China closed their banks and didn't pay the people. It's coming to a theater near you. That's the test. Believe me, it's coming here. But everybody's blown away because they haven't seen it here. Oh, we'll be okay. Look, in the 70s, it'll be the same. No, because you really got about a 30 or 40 trillion dollars in debt. I heard 90 on one of these shows yesterday, and it's probably the truth. They can't pay the debt off, so they're going to default, and all of us are fucked. If you hold this, you're fucked. If you keep it in the bank, you'll never get it out. All I have is a few $1,000s to pay rent and my credit cards. That's it. All my money's in the safe or it's here. This is all bought earlier. This is just bonus money that I bought in the 90s. I just haven't gotten it graded because you didn't grade it back then. So I'm in no hurry to get it graded, but that's the thing. So my girlfriend wants money, and I say, well, I can't sell you. I'm not selling this till it's 40, 50,000 an ounce. Why would I sell it at 1,800 an ounce? You got to be kidding. So I'm not selling it. So therefore I tell her, you got to wait until this hits. Then I can give you 10,000. So that kind of shuts her up. But these Romanian girls, they want money. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. The demand will be through the roof at that point. It'll be panic. The panic of this is not worth anything because the Saudis have gotten off. I don't know if you were on when I was showing this. Probably not. Let's see. So here's the Russian gold exchange. So that's coming. That's going to reset it. That's where we're going to make 50,000 because it's not on it. To read it to you. Russia's new gold exchange will change the game. So right now we don't have it. We have COMEX, which is paper derivatives, which I keep explaining is bullshit money. The ETFs are paper. They're not real. I'm selling this to 1,000 people. I only have one, and nobody of the thousands is going to get it because I'm keeping it, but I sell it. That's what an ETF is. It's all a scam. It's a pyramid scheme. These people should be sent in jail. These Rick Rolls and this SLV and all these ETF people, they're selling paper. It's not real gold. You think it's gold because they're presenting it as gold. It's physical. What do they say? It's a physical ETF. Bullshit. You don't own an ounce of gold. And when the shit's hitting the fan and you need this, you're not going to get it because they only have one and it ain't going to you. Where was the other? Here's something. The Japanese yen collapsed. A little more further proof of what the fuck's really going on in the world. Japanese yen collapse forces nation to reopen for travelers. I do a lot worse. Where's that other? What am I looking for? Here's what I'm looking for. The Saudi Arabia Russian is finally out in the open. So Saudi Arabia is now selling oil to rubles, not U.S., which makes the U.S. not the reserve currency, which makes all this stuff that they're printing worthless. It's going to the Saudis. They're going with the Russians, and they're getting Russian dollars backed by gold. I think that's about all I have to say. Do you understand that, Bobby? As soon as this Russian exchange starts going, I think by the end of the year, you're looking at $20,000 an ounce. It's not going to take a year because once we got 335 million people here, you got your Gates and your Zuckerbergs and your ball player, your LeBron James and those guys sitting in money. What the fuck do you think a guy like LeBron James who knows nothing of money and he's got what $100 million? What do you think he's going to think when it's worth nothing? How fast do you think he's going to buy gold? He's going to say, fuck, I need gold, and he's going to buy it, but he's too stupid to understand it now. And whoever his portfolio manager's got him in stocks because the portfolio managers can't sell gold or tell people to buy gold because the U.S. government says, this is a monopoly. We want everybody in this, and we don't want anybody in this, so don't tell anybody about gold. Keep them in this and keep them in stocks because we want this monopoly. That's what JP Morgan wants because they own the Fed. And we're just going to fuck everybody over because we don't want them in gold. And once people realize that this is gone and LeBron James buys 500 million ounces of fucking gold because he's just realized he's broke, what do you think is going to happen to the price? And then times him by the rest of the Lakers and the rest of football and all the, Tom Brady's and Butch Skinner, his ex-wife, and all these people are fucking clueless. This is the point, Bobby. They're clueless. What do you think they're going to do? You think they want to go from, you think LeBron wants to go from $100 million to zero? And that's what's going to happen because this is going to go to this, and then this goes to nothing. So at best case, this gets replaced by a new $100 bill that will take, you have 100, I'll give you 50 of the new currency. So at best, your currency's gone in half. There'll always be your currency. This is the medium of it. This is so you can go to the grocery store and pay your rent. So they'll always have something like this, but the value of it will be shattered compared to that and compared to this. You think LeBron James has got a mantle card? The other card I brought out for my Canadian is this Bobby Orr, 1969 Bobby Orr. It's fucking perfect. Another mint card, another $1 million card if it's PSA 10. I mean, that's my point, man. This is value. This is a old car that's losing its value. And to not be impolite, this is the girl that was beautiful when she was 20, who's fat and ugly now, and she's 60, and nobody wants her. That's what this is. No offense, please take by any ladies. Being that the price has been compressed for 30 years. Since 1971, it's been compressed. Yes, you mean the big money is buying it because they know something. Well, they're not buying it yet. That one company I showed you did, but is LeBron James buying it? Your baseball friends, are they, give them a call. Say, hey, Barry Bonds, you got your money in gold or you got it in stocks? I'll bet you the $1,000 he's got it in stocks because he's in Microsoft and that nothing can happen to them. So we will be doing what the smart money if we accumulate now. They going to buy it high and push the price higher as supply and demand. I thought that was Brett Favre for a second. No, she passes her prime. Well, that's exactly. No, this is Bobby Orr, Mickey Mantle. I only buy like the real. I love Bobby Orr. I love him. Everybody loves these guys. So that's what I bought. That's where I triggered it. I got an Earl Campbell rookie, which is worth $75,000 if it's a 10. I mean, I couldn't believe this card was worth $75,000 as a PSA 10, and this is his rookie. He didn't have any. Now here you can see it's his rookie because it only has 1 year on it, and they didn't make the card. But I got a Tony Dorsett. I got a Lynn Swan. I got a lot of like stars like that, Montana, Rice, Elway, Marino. And that's what you did. I got yours, but unfortunately, you didn't hit 700 home runs, or we'd be celebrating. Um, so that's this is the other. This is the ace in the hole. Is the Mantle card, the Orr card. Those are my aces in the hole. This is what's necessary. This is like, oh my God. So this is, if we compare these two, this is 1800. If I told you you can buy this for, if this was a PSA 10 and I told you you can buy it for 1800, I'd have a line outside my house of 1 million people wanting to give me 1800 for a PSA 10 Mantle. That's got to be worth $1 million, because there can't be more than 20 of these, because this set was so fucked up, and to get it centered like this is almost impossible. And I got the Willie Mays and I got the Hank Aaron, and those are all a little bit off center, but not the Mantle. This is perfectly centered, and it was very hard to get because Topps really fucked up. So that's my ace in the hole, but I got to get them graded. If I get it graded, I get $1 million. As it is now, I might get 100,000 for it, but I got to prove it's mint and all that kind of stuff. So it's again the demand. So people will get out of this. But right now, everybody's in stocks and bonds because that's what their portfolio manager, their finance manager puts them in, because they won't tell them to buy gold because they're not permitted. I don't care. I don't have a license. I don't get involved with the government, and I'm teaching a class, so I can get away with, this is what I do. That's what maybe you should do. And I'm not, licensed, and I don't want to be licensed, because then I couldn't tell you. I got a phone call for a job of selling investments. I said, well, I put everybody in the gold. Oh, you can't do that. Well, then fuck you. I don't want it. I'm trying to help people. I don't want to see you broke because your money's worthless. I want to see you in this so you can survive, and you'll make a ton of money, because this is 1800 and it's going to be 100,000. And that's my point. That's what I'm telling you to get in now, because very soon this is $20,000, $30,000. If you can even find it, where are you gonna? It's like finding. It's like finding, where are you gonna find this card in this condition? Where are you gonna go to a card show and it's not graded, and you're gonna find it in gem mint condition? Really? Good luck on that one, because they're all gone and graded. And here I can, for 150, I bought this. If I wanted a PSA, I couldn't. First of all, couldn't even find a PSA 10 Mantle 1968. And if I could, it would cost me $1 million. So that's my point with this. If you can find it, once the shit hits the fan, it's going to be $50,000. So this in the 90s probably wasn't that expensive. Then when the grading came out, it probably wasn't expensive. And then it finally boomed. The Jordan rookie card was 35,000 in March 2020, and COVID hits. Now it's worth $1.5 million for the same card. It was like a jump. And that's what happened, because I was beginning to think, oh, baseball cards, they don't have a value. And then all of a sudden they do. I started looking at a box of Marvel cards, Spider-Man, the X-Men, and Stan Lee, and they're all worth like $1,000. It was unbelievable. They're just nothing card. They're cards. I spent $10 on a box in 1990, and I opened it and I put it in a little baseball. I didn't even have them in hard plastics, and then I go through them and I find, and every card's worth 500, 600, 1,000. Spider-Man, Iron Man, Doc Ock. They're all fucking, because everybody loves Marvel. Out of nowhere. I mean, that was unbelievable. So again, I have all those. I got to get them graded, but I didn't even have them in. I had to go buy 100 frames to frame them, because they were just sitting there in a box, not even framed. But fortunately, I understand condition, so I kept it like that. Anyway, that's people don't understand this. They think the COMEX price. So let's look at that. So what people don't understand, there's two prices. Well, there's really one price, but it's the wrong thing. So what people don't understand, So when people tell me about gold and they see 1675 is the COMEX price, is the paper price, it is not, this is not 1675. It's not anywhere near it. And yet the dealers will put well, 1675, we'll mark it up 200, it's 1875 because we'll put this premium on. And I laugh at them because I'm going to them, but your premium is based on this. You're adding 200 to this. You're out of your fucking mind. This is held down by millions of ounces of paper, gold, and silver. It's not real. If you looked at this as you would look at this is $1 million because that's what it is on eBay. This is a lot more than 1,800. This is the point I try to bring is this is about 10,000 if you didn't look at COMEX. So when you add on $100 premium, like you think that's smart, you're fucking idiots. If I was in my store, I wouldn't even be selling them. I'd be throwing them in my safe faster than you could, you could breathe. I mean, in physical form, you don't have the market, you have COMEX. So therefore, to add a premium to COMEX is like, it's like if this was a paper, if this is like an internet card and not a real card, what would you value it at? You got to have the real thing and see what the eBay market tells you it's worth. This is not priced anywhere. This is me thinking supply and demand, knowing with my economics background that this is bullshit. So not only is this going down, this has got to be going through the roof. How is this 1,800? They printed 10 trillion of these. So the value of these dropped. How did this not go up for the 10 trillion that went in that lowered the value of it? You can't print 10 trillion and not hurt the value, but how did this not go up? How did this go down? Because JP Morgan and the fucking Federal Reserve want you to, I just said it. So JP Morgan wants this price because they want you here. So how did they print $10 trillion and this price, which was 1,800, goes down? It's impossible because you've hurt the value of this, which you can see at the grocery store, the utilities, the gas, everything's gone up in price, which is not inflation. Inflation is just making this worthless. And I hate when these idiots, even Powell will say, well, we want to get the prices down, thinking that that's inflation. That's not inflation. It's because you're fucking with the value that the prices go up is the effect of you fucking the money up. That's all it is. So as you keep printing, you keep making the value less and less and less, which has to make this go up because this is a fixed, this is an asset and it's gold. This has to go up. There has to be huge demand because this is the only way out. Buying stocks is not the way out of this. You're still in money. And it's still, the companies are still going to lose money. People will need money. They're going to sell their stocks because that's all they got because they're not in this and they're not in this. That's the whole point of these are assets and this is not. This is bullshit. This is paper. And this is the price of a derivatives paper gold where they sell 1 billion ounces that they don't have. And so it's all a scam. And it's been told that it's been a scam. And people know it's a scam. And yet they're going to jail, but it's still there. Now, that's what my guys that I sent you, those 2 guys are telling you. No, it's blown up. COMEX doesn't work anymore. The Russian exchange will get this to the normal value, and that's going to be at least 10 grand. And once that shit's out, and now this is no longer the reserve currency because the Russians and the Saudis are doing business. The only reason this was the reserve because you had to buy this for oil to pay the Saudis, which are now saying, we'll take rubles. Now nobody wants it. This is the 60-year-old girl. It's out, which makes everything else bankrupt here. And that's why you buy this and the silver. Where are you, Bobby? I'm reading your things to figure out where we're at. Well, the smart money is the central banks. And the central banks, if you do a search in Google, have been buying. Well, that's the Chinese have 25,000 tons of gold. The Russians have 15,000 tons. The banks in Europe have bought it. The banks um, in India have bought it. So really, the only banks who haven't are the U.S., England, and Canada haven't been buying the gold. All the other central banks and this one company I showed you bought 50 million ounces of it. So again, why are they buying it if it's useless? And the reason is because they know the currencies are all collapsing. So they'll have zero, right? So the only way a central bank can exist with worthless money is to own this. That's why they're all buying gold. And it's being suppressed so they can all buy it because they're a little club and they're keep the price low so we can buy. And that's what's happening. But it's backfiring because the Russians and the Chinese said, thank you very much. And they're buying it and buying and buying. But you don't want the Russians and Chinese. You don't want communist countries in control of the world because they have all the fucking gold. He with the gold makes the rules, as we all know. And we're going to be fucked because we don't have gold and we're going to have to speak Chinese and Russians. I know Andrew Canadian, but you guys don't have gold either. They going to buy it high and push the true price higher. Exactly. I thought that was okay. Okay. Andrew, 6,000 a night. Our prime minister spent over in England at Queen's funeral. Yeah, well, it's not his money. By the way, your beef just went up and your gas just went up to pay for it. 32,000 for 5 nights, taxpayers' money. Don't you love being a politician? This is the problem. It's all corrupt, and he doesn't care. It's not his money, which is the whole point of problem of taxing. I tax you, you give me money, and I'm going to spend it the way I want. You would never go to England. I would never go to England and get a room for 6,000 a night. I'd be on bookings. I'd be on, booking.com looking for a place for 150 a night that had a pool. I mean, 6,000 a night? Are you kidding me? So yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, that's crazy. It's like hitting a home run and losing points. Yeah. Andrew, neither asset, gold or silver, has performed well amid rising inflation. Hey, Andrew, I just finished saying it's COMEX. COMEX isn't real. It's been repressed down. Yes, these have gone great. Stop looking at COMEX. See, this is what you're looking at, Andrew, and this is what I'm trying to figure out how to explain to you that this isn't real. Yet you're looking at it and going, hey, the price has gone down. It's not real. This is JP Morgan keeping the price down so the central banks and JP Morgan can buy it at a cheap price. And Russia and China are buying it at this price instead of the real price. So when you say that, you don't understand this is not the real price. This is being manipulated. This is worse than that Steeler-Cleveland game when they did the laterals and fumbled in the end zone to get the over and cost everybody money. That's what this is. You can't look at COMEX and say that's the price. We don't know the price of this. There is no physical market. There is underground, but we don't really know. It's not published. 1675. What we need is this in physical, and it would be 10,000. And that's what I keep telling you. You cannot look at COMEX. That's what they want you to do. They want a monopoly on this, which means don't buy this. Buy this because this is what we want you to buy because we can control you like that. Then we can take 32,000 for 5 nights with your money as long as you're in it. If you're in this, I can't because I don't have money to go and spend 32,000 for 5 nights, right? So I don't want you in this because I'm the government. So this is what you be in. Stay in this. And by the way, JP Morgan, keep this price down. Keep this price. Don't let it jump to market. Don't let it jump to physical. This is what they're doing, the government, JP Morgan, Powell, all the morons who are in charge of the money are fucking Keynesians that have no clue that they think we can just keep printing the money. Well, we'll just print another 100. That'll pay for that 32,000. Except what they don't realize is you print this to zero if you keep printing it, right? That's what happens. That's the whole lesson. That's what inflation is. You're printing it to zero. And you're fucked. And that's my point. And that's why you need to buy this, because you're getting a deal. This is not $1,600. Like I said, if you could get this, all right, I'll give you the Bobby Orr card, Mr. Ottawa. So if I said I'll give you this card for $50, you would take it in a heartbeat. Anybody would. It's probably a $10,000, $20,000 card, priced at a mint 9, maybe at a PSA 10. It's probably $100,000. Okay, it's not graded, but let's say this was graded. Let's say this is graded 10. And I said, well, you know what? I'm gonna suppress the price. You can have it for $100. Would you buy it? You would have it for $100. You would buy. There'd be a line out my door for Bobby Orr PSA 10 or the Mickey Mantle for $100. That's what Comex is. Comex is keeping the price down, not at market. So if this card at market PSA 10 is $1 million, and you saw it here for 1,600. All right. So if this is the Mantle price, wait a minute. No. This can't be. This is $1 million. Well, you can buy it for 1,600. First of all, you couldn't buy this anywhere for 1,600. The cheapest you can buy for is 1,800. Bobby, if you call that number and say, I want the 1,675, he's going to laugh at you. I don't have it for that. This price isn't even real. But that's what this is. So you're buying this for $100 is a fucking joke. But the Russians and Chinese said, oh, we'll buy it, because we know his real value is $1 million. So we'll buy all we can eat for $100, because you're keeping the price fixed on this machine. And that's the problem. So don't look at this as the real price. That's not the real. This is $10,000. Right? This is 10,000 for the fucking ounce, and the silver's 2,000. It might not be there today. It'll be there very, very soon. But this is what they're avoiding. They want the monopoly here, because guess who runs the Fed? JP Morgan, and they want to be the only ones to print the money. So think about a monopoly. You want to be the only one to print the money. But if you allow this, there's competition, and you don't want competition, because you can't compete with this. That's the problem. This is so undervalued. This is going to make you a slave. This is going to make you free and rich. And you don't buy this. You buy this to get out of this. I don't want this. This is going to zero. What do I do? Now, I thought about that once I noticed this was happening. As soon as Biden went into office and he started printing, I said, I got to get out of dollars. That's how my mind thought. This was a year and a half ago. I said, what the fuck do I do? I can't stay in U.S. dollars. It's going to be destroyed. And I said, well, can I buy euro? And I go, well, no, euro's the same. Euro's printed, and the British pound's printed, and the Swiss franc. And I started to realize there was no money I could move to. So I can't take $100,000 in U.S. dollars and go buy British pounds or go buy Swiss francs. So I realized all the money was the same, which led me to taking my money and buying this, because this was the only out. And I already had this, so I didn't need to buy any more of these. God knows I have enough of those, was to buy this. And that's my conclusion as an economist, as a guy with a master's in economics, as a finance guy, as the professor. The only out was this, and I knew it was not the right price, because they're starting with the 1676 going, well, we'll mark it up $200 now. And I'll go to the guy at the store and I go, what the fuck are you marking it up $200 for? Well, it's premium. And I go, you should be selling it for $10,000, not $200. Like silver, he charges $35. I laugh at him. I go, you should be charging $2,000. What are you, insane? How do you sell gold and silver and not understand the basic premise of free market and COMEX price fixing? Are you insane? Prices jumped forward. Okay, they got busted. Yep. How could it still be happening? Because they still want it, because JP Morgan runs it, and JP Morgan, they're there, but they're still doing it. But it's collapsing, because you can't buy the gold at 1675. That's my point. It's going to cost you 1,900, and now everybody's realizing it, and then the system's still in place to do it, but they're going to lose. JP Morgan will lose trillions of dollars. So will the other banks, because they're in it short. They've got these derivatives saying, oh, we want it to go down. And guess what? It's not going to go down. They're trying to do the margin call movie. The margin call movie, what did they do? A fire sale, and they dumped all their real estate trust, and that the mortgage-backed securities they knew was blowing up because people were defaulting. So they weren't getting the 9% that they were selling it to the customers for, because if people default, they're not getting anything. So all those turn worthless. So before the public knew, what did they do? They dumped it in the market and took whatever they can get. And that was the whole thesis of the show, is how could we sell something we know is worthless? And then Gerald Irons said, well, we're selling it at market prices. Bullshit. You're not selling that at market prices. The market's for the good derivative, good mortgage-backed securities, not the crap you're selling them. So you're not selling it at market prices. That's the criminal. And that's what's going on now, is the JP Morgans and the other big banks, the Wells Fargos, who have all these derivative bullshit shorts, are fucked. They're going to lose trillions of dollars. So they're dumping it, which is why the price is down, because they're still using this paper price, which is totally illegal. It totally separates this. And yeah, they're going to jail, but it just takes time to get out of it because the people in charge still want to dump it. I know, cat's out of the bag, right? Hello, not anymore. Hello, what, Andrew? How will we know when it does go up through if they don't want to display it? Because they won't have a choice. You'll call the coin store up and he'll say, oh, you want gold? It's 10,000 an ounce. It'll be on my YouTube channel, guys. They'll tell it. The MSNBC and CNN, all the communist channels will try to hide it, just like Biden's now saying there's no recession. Dude, there's a depression. You're right. It's not a recession, but he's trying to say, oh no, the economy's still good. There's no recession. And recession is you're slowing the growth, which you are because of the interest rates. And the other thing with interest rates are you're only supposed to raise them once and wait about 3 or 4 months for the repercussions. They're raising them every month and not waiting the 5-6 months for the repercussions. So when the shit hits the fan from all this bullshit, Federal Reserve raising the rates, it's going to be disastrous. Right now, I'm telling you, all these people will be out of work because I know that's what's going to happen, but they're not. They're going to try to hide it. And then you'll see the election. And if the Republicans win, then they'll blame look, the Republicans took office. Look what happened to the economy. But Biden's still going to be there. And Biden's the laughing stock of the world. Everybody knows this guy's a freaking idiot. I think George Soros is behind it all. He's the billionaire who was a Nazi who stole all the gold from the Jews, and he took the Nazi gold after World War II. I think he's behind it all. He wants the world to collapse because that's what the Nazis wanted. He wants to make everybody slaves because that's what the Nazis wanted. You had concentration camps, and all us Jews got thrown in jail and starved to death. So it's really a frightful thing, but that's exactly what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the Fourth Reich. Nothing makes sense. Why are you bankrupting? You're the U.S. Why the fuck would you bankrupt yourself? Are you out of your mind? And you can't be this stupid to know you're not doing it. We'll keep printing. Oh, we'll raise interest rates a quarter point. Inflation's 20%. You're at 2. All right, now you're at 3. You're not stopping anything. All you're doing is causing the rest of the world to go bankrupt. As you can see, Japan, England, we know Sri Lanka, we know Germany, the euro, all these countries are going bankrupt because they can't afford the higher costs to pay the U.S. And don't tell me the U.S. doesn't realize what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing because they're not run. Biden doesn't know what the fuck day it is. It's being run by George Soros. And he's the one saying what to do, and he's behind Black Lives Matters and Antifa and all these wicked groups is run by George Soros, and he's trying to divide and conquer, which is what you did to the Romans. So this is all bullshit, and it's all very scary. And this is your way out. I'm going to Portugal to look for houses because I don't want to live here because this is we're going to be in concentration camps. We're going to be slaves because everybody has this as a slave now. Your government will protect you. Yeah, great. I can see how well you're doing it. Andrew, good question, Vanilla. Sky is falling. The sky is fallen. Biden is the laughing stock. Exactly. But does inflation exist? Andrew, I've been teaching you about that for how long? Inflation is if you print too much of this and you devalue it. You just told me how expensive gas was in Canada and how much food was. You have free health care, so I'm sure your taxes are through the roof. Inflation is the losing of the value. So as I explained so eloquently to Bobby last time, here's inflation, Andrew. Well, it's the devaluation of the dollar. So let's go back to 1971. This gold ounce was $35. So all I needed was $35 to buy it. This is a gold ounce, so I'll prove it to you. 1 ounce of gold, right? You can see it's 1 ounce of gold. That's what it is. And can I buy it for $35 now? No. Can I buy it for $100? No. It's going to take me 1,800 of these to buy this. Soon it's going to take me 10,000 of these to buy this. So that's inflation, Andrew, is now this is worth less. This is still an ounce. This was $35 for 1 ounce in 1975. Nothing's changed. It's a 1 ounce gold coin. But I need 1,800 of these to buy it. That's your inflation. I can't explain it any easier than that. This 100 is worth maybe $20 now, right? I can buy Cheerios and Oreos, and I go to the grocery store where you used to spend $30 to fill your cart. What does 100 buy you at the grocery store? That's the simplest proof of inflation is the value of this has gone to crap. The value of this has gone to 1,800, is about to go to 10,000. That's inflation in a nutshell. That's the only way to explain it. This has gone through the moon, will go much higher but it's not money. This is like a Rolex, like a diamond, like a Picasso. They're investments. This is what Bitcoin is. So would you rather own a fucking Bitcoin that there's 21 million or Mickey Mantle, which there can't be more than 100 of these in this condition? What would you rather fucking own? And it ain't Bitcoin, because I know this value is going to go much, much higher, and Bitcoin is down to 19,000 or whatever. Here's a nice card just to show you. This is a beautiful card. It's the Joe Montana. I remember getting this. I don't know what the value is, and he's on Kansas City. This is like a mid-90s card, but they came out with a subset. The only problem is this isn't numbered. This is 1995 Pinnacle Z Team. So it's a beautiful card. I bought it just for the artwork. Like when I saw it, and I got Barry Sanders and Montana and Elway and Rice. And that's what I would do. But it wasn't, they didn't have numbered cards. This is a beautiful, gorgeous card. It's a piece of artwork. I don't know. It's not worth as much as it should be. It's kind of like a refractor that I showed you, the Brady refractor, which is worth about 80,000. Again, if that comes back as a 10. So that's what you're wanting is assets. This cannot go down ever. This is being shit on to zero. This can never go down, this because it's related to this. It takes more of these to buy this. So as you've printed another 9 trillion of these, this should have went up through the roof if it wasn't manipulated. Once the manipulation ends, because guess what? The Russians and the Chinese are buying it, and then it's going to run out, right? The Indians and the Russians and the Chinese are buying this hand over fist. I can buy a few ounces. I can't buy tons like they do, but that's my point. If I was LeBron James right now, I would take my $100 million. Not only would I do that, I would tell the Lakers, I want to get paid in gold. Don't pay me in dollars, because then you can't tax me either. This is not taxable. This is not an investment. This is money. You cannot tax money. So when this goes up in value, This maybe they can tax you on as an investment, like your stock going up, but I doubt it because they really don't know what you spent on it. It's all money. This is money, and the money goes up. It's not taxed. You don't have to pay tax. That's the other value of it. You're buying money just like you're buying euros or Swiss francs. So that's what's happening. That's how we know about inflation, is the simple test that this has gone. You need more of these to buy that, is the purest form of way to explain inflation to you. Value of the dollar. Cost of doing business through the roof. Cost of doing business very expensive. That's not inflation. That's the effect of inflation. So inflation is you're printing more of these, making them lose value. What happens is the prices go up. They don't really go up. It takes more dollars to buy the same thing. So if I wanted, and I'll go to the Canadian Club. So before inflation, this probably bought you 10 bottles of this. I think when I bought this in the 90s, this was $15, right? $15. Now it's 50 at least, or 60, and that's just buying it at Target, right? This is now costing 60. This is being devalued, but that's what inflation is. This is the effect, as this price goes up, because they're saying, I need more of these to buy this. This really doesn't go up in price. This goes down in value, just as when it was $35 to buy this is now $1,800. This didn't go up in price. This went down in value. And if you understand that concept, that this is what's losing value, then you want to buy. That's why you buy assets. You buy real money. But because the whole fucking world is doing this, you can't buy euros. You can't buy Swiss francs. You can't buy British pounds. You don't want to buy yen. You certainly don't want to buy rupees. Maybe you buy rubles because it's backed by gold, but good luck. I think you got to be in Russia because of our fucking sanctions. We can't buy rubles. And then add on to that, Switzerland won't take Russian gold in the West. They're saying you can't take it, which makes this go through the roof even higher, because now they're probably switching their gold, the ruble gold, the Russian gold, into this. So that makes this go up even more in value. So the cost of doing business is a different thing, Andrew. That's having to pay for things. Like you need buying rent. You need rent. That's the cost of doing business. Bobby, a lot of players are taking a percentage of their salaries in crypto. They should not do that. They should get it. They should get 90% of it in gold. Why crypto? What is crypto? Get it in Mano cards. Say, you know what? I want PSA 10 Mano cards. Or they should be getting this, not crypto. Why do they think crypto is good? Ask them that, Bobby. You go right to your guys, your friends, and say, why are you getting crypto? Why? And they're going to tell you it's going to go up. You're going to say, why is it going to go up? Is it an asset? Well, it's gold. No, this is gold. Gold is gold. Crypto's not this. Mano's not this. Mano's not gold. Only thing that's gold is gold. Mano is an investment. He's like a stock. It's like a painting. It's like diamonds. That's what Mano is. Not gold. Gold is money, and gold is gold. And it's the only thing. It's indestructible. And I think that was the first thing I started with. Where is it? I hate when I do that. Let's go through that. We will review that because this is the most important thing in my class. Qualities of medium of exchange. It's got to be portable. It's got to be scarce, which makes it have a high value. If you overabundance, it loses value. That's this. If you print too much, you lose value. It's got to be divisible for small exchanges. It's got to be fungible. Everything is the same. It's all gold. It's got to be accepted by everybody, and it's got to be durable. And I do not see that is crypto. I don't accept crypto. You couldn't pay me in it. So therefore, it's not money, and it's certainly not gold. Is it limited? I don't think 21 million is limited. Do you think there's 21 million of this in this condition? Are you fucking serious? I don't think there's 100 in that condition. Andrew, I get that life prices go up. No, that's not life. Best time to be alive. We have everything we need. Well, I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing life and that type of philosophy. But that's not true. Life prices go up. When they came out with computers, they were very expensive. Okay, I'll tell you, in the 70s, I hit my $2,100 lock, which was Florida State over Oklahoma and Michigan over Auburn. It was 1980 or 81, $2,100 teaser. I hit it. I went out and bought a VCR. Those old big VCRs was like $700-800 because I worked at the grocery store on the weekends. I was like 17, 18, and I couldn't see the games. I missed the college games. I never worked on Sundays because I wanted to watch the pros, and I watched the college, and I couldn't watch it. And there was no ESPN. There was no highlights. There's no YouTube. This is in the 70s, so I bought a VCR, and it was like $900 or $700, $800. It was expensive. And then they came out with more and better. And now what are they? They're like they went down to like $50. So it's competition that lowers the price. So that's why prices don't necessarily go up. If you allow competition, it lowers the prices and improves the quality. Is Canadian Club the only whiskey? No, there's Crown Royal, there's Seagrams, there's Dewar's. It's not the only one, but by competing with the rest, it keeps the quality up and the price down. So we benefit by the competition. Competition is critical for our life to be better, for prices to go down, and quantity and quality to go up. That's what we want, is competition. That's free market economics. And that's what these communists in Washington and throughout the world don't want. What does China want? They want a market. They don't want a market economy. They want it to be communist. They want the government to run the economy. What is Russia doing? We want the market. We want the government running it. What the hell you think's happening here? They want the government to run the economy. It doesn't work. It takes competition out of it. As soon as you take competition out, what do you bring in? Monopolies. And what happens when there's monopolies? Where do you think all these oligarchs with these billion-dollar yachts come from? Because there's no competition in Russia. So the government says, you run the oil, you run the diamonds, you run the gold and silver, you run this, you run that. There's no competition. Prices are extremely expensive. I know, because I got friends in Russia. Prices are extremely expensive. I've been to Moscow, and it's so funny. Everybody's on the bus, or everybody's on the subway, or everybody's walking, and then you'll see a Mercedes drive by, and you know that's the mafia guy, right? Right there. There's the mafia in the Mercedes, and here's the rest of the fucking Russians are walking around the bus or subway. It was just so apropos. But that's what you don't want. That's why those economies don't work. You gain far more out of free market economics, out of competition, because now there's Canadian Club, Dewar's, Crown Royal. There's 50 whiskeys. That's what you want. Now you compete. You gotta. Well, I'll mark my price lower so people will buy it, right? And I got to make it better because it doesn't taste good. I got to make it better. But if it's the only one out there, well, too bad. You got to take this whiskey, the U.S. government whiskey, and do that. And you know that in Canada, Andrew. You got all that bullshit where the government runs the liquor stores and the banks and everything else. It's a fucking nightmare in Canada. And they tax you up the ass. And the free medicine's not good for dialysis. It's only good if you have a cold and you need to go in for a checkup. And then the doctor only does, my quota is 20 people, that's all. And I only work 6 months of the year because that's all I get paid for. That's why all the doctors leave Canada and come to the U.S. because they can make much more money. So is this the best time to be alive or the worst time to be alive? If you don't have gold, you're fucked. You're going to be a slave. But no, don't. Life prices go up is It's not prices going up. It's this. It's this going down. It's never prices going up. But when you priced it in gold, so if you've had gold since the 1900s, 1905, you had gold. Prices didn't go up at all. Prices went down compared to gold, right? Why is gold 1800? Because this has lost its value. So prices have never gone up. This has deteriorated from $100 to now it's worth 5 or 10. That's what's going on. So it's not prices going up. It's the fucking with the currency because there's a Federal Reserve and the Federal Reserve fucks everybody because they print money and they just stuff it in their pockets. So JP Morgan prints $1 million, throws it in his pocket, goes to the government guys. Here you go. Here's your cut. Give some to the politicians, some to the banks. We don't get it. And they just print money. If you watch Money Heist, if you watch the first one, what did they do? They went into the bank and they printed money. They printed €1 billion on Money Heist, right? God love the professor. But so he said, I'm not stealing from anybody. I'm not taking the money from anybody it belongs to. I'm just printing. I'm borrowing your printing press to make euros. And that's basically what they do. But they don't realize is when they print, it makes this worth a lot less. Why do you think this blue line is on it and this little gold thing? It's because the Russians have the place and they print it too. So this is extreme. This needs to go away. And now people say, well, what's the new reserve currency? This should be the only reserve currency in the world. And if this was it, you'd never have a war. You'd never have any issues. You'd never have inflation. Everything would be wonderful, except for the people in charge can't print this. So the people running in charge should be people like me who look out for you, right? I should be the leader because I don't want you hurt. I want to protect you. Make sure you have gold. I would never have a central bank and I would never have this. This is garbage. And then everybody would value. I'd have a few more denominations of gold, you know, a $2 gold, a $5 gold, a $20 gold, and then go price your Rice Krispies and a $2 gold piece. And then that's how I'd go to Target and I'd give them the $2 gold piece from my Rice Krispies or whatever. You never have inflation and you never have a war because the war is always about money or oil. That's what it's always about. That's the problem. And yes, I'd need a little military, but a small one to protect. You need sound laws and you need sound money. I mean, it's not hard. I've got the answers right here of what a city needs and what money is. Yet they somehow get away from it because they can't print. And they're a bunch of greedy bastards running our countries that should be in jail at least. This Biden, what is he running? What is he doing? He's printing money. What is he doing? Oh, that's okay. We'll just print more. You're in debt. You can't. The perfect example was you owe money on your credit card, and now you raise the rates on the credit card. So you get another credit card to pay that credit card off. And now what do you do with the other credit card that you're borrowing against to pay the first card off? That's where we're at. We got debt. We're printing more money. How do we pay for that money? That's debt. The money you're printing is debt. It's not money. You're just printing. You can just go to a printing press and print it. That's not money. That's just more IOU debt. That's all you're doing. It doesn't pay for this. This is an IOU. This is all the government owes me $100. That's all that is. This is actual fucking money that nobody owes me anything on, right? The government doesn't owe me. I have it. The government owes me $100. That's the difference. This is debt. This is money. This is the only money. This is not money. This is fiat currency. That's bullshit that can be printed to death, which is what happens to every fiat currency. And it's happening now all over the world. This is the money. This is the way out. This is your get out of jail free card. But why won't people listen? It blows my fucking mind. There's no incentive for me to tell you this. I do not gain a penny. You do not buy from me. This is, I sell football picks. That's a whole different. That's so you can buy this. I have no dog in the game or whatever it is. Or no chicken in the roost. I don't know. I don't have anything in this. I want you to buy to protect yourself. That's it. Period. I'm a good heart. That's what I'm trying to do. Save you, rescue you. Buy this. Get out of that. And then people won't listen. It just blows my mind. Howard for president. Yeah, but I wouldn't be corrupt. So I don't know if the banks would let me in. Gold is a insurance, not an investment. I never said it was an investment. Gold is money. Is this an investment? No, it's what you do with it. If you buy this is the investment. This is money. If you buy stocks, that's an investment. It's what do you do with this? How do you invest this? But don't forget, this is money. Now, the fact that it's been repressed down is why you're going to get a double hit on it. It's not an investment, but you're going to take this 1,800 and turn it into 50,000 because this has been repressed. All it is going to its true value. But no, this is not an investment per se, but they're making it a double. Not only is it money, but it is also going to get to its normal value. So if you don't want to call it an investment, don't. It's money, but because it's not valued properly, it's valued at that COMEX crap. Since it's valued here, it won't really be an investment. It'll be this going to 50,000. It'll get to its true value. So sort of, yes, this is not an investment, but this is going to go up a lot because it's going to be worth a ton because it's been held down, because this little fella is going to zero and this little toe is going to go to the moon. And Bobby, you'll know it. It'll be, believe me, it won't be kept secret. And then you'll see all these athletes and politicians and Bill Gates run to the gold store, and guess what? There won't be. I showed you that article. The guy bought 50 million ounces of it, or $50 million worth of it. Why did he do that? Gold's a piece of crap. It's not. He's going to be as rich as we are. So it's a kicker because it's been held down. But no, once it hits 50,000, it's not an investment. But I never said it was an investment. I'm saying you got to get out of this. The only thing is, there's no other currency is to buy this. And then if you want to buy this as an investment, because this will go up to the moon, then you can do that. But I would do this first because this is actual money. And you're going to spend this. I'm going to go buy a house with this. That's my plan. That's why I live in my apartment, Mr. Smarty Pants, whoever the fuck that guy was. And if I want a Mercedes, this is a half ounce. I can do that. So this is a half ounce and this is an ounce. And it's really hard. It always screws me up when I count my gold because I think this is an ounce, but I got to realize this is a half ounce. So you need some of these too for the smaller purchases, and the silver will be perfect to go to Target and buy your groceries and your food and pay your girlfriends. So that's what's happening. Bobby, knowledge is power. Most people walking around here have no clue. They have no clue of any of this. This was taught in the 1994-95 at Walsh College, a business and accounting college in Michigan. I went to my undergrad was Oakland University, which I think you've heard of their basketball team, in the 80s. And the economics they taught was Keynesian. The economic, which is socialism, which has got nothing to do with any of this, right? This was all new to me when I learned in my master's program. What in my undergrad, they taught Keynesian, they taught socialism. And in elementary and in high school, they teach Keynesian. They put all the charts. Nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about. They're not teaching you anything. That class should be shot. But this is where you learn. And I never look at my notes. I'm reading off my notes from 1995 that make perfect sense that I can teach you, and you don't have nobody's asking me, Howard, what do you mean by that chart? What do you mean by supply equals demand at equilibrium and unemployment? That's how they teach it. Nobody knows what the fuck it is. I don't get one question. Well, Andrew, but he's Canadian, so we give him that. I don't get questions that need explanation because I'm explaining it in English as I go, which is critical to teaching. Is you got to be able to teach it in English. Bobby, now, yeah. Oh, yeah, that guy Sam was talking shit. The professor had to delete his candy. Yeah, we all love The Rock, too. Yeah, I mean, that was so out of line, asking me without knowing me that why am I in I would never take, and this is not a 1 bedroom. This is not a 1 room apartment. This is my living room. I got 2 bedrooms and a bathroom and a shower and everything else over there. It's like 1,100 square feet, but I choose it because why would I buy a house into raising interest rates and a falling house market? Why would I buy it? But again, I'm an economist and I know that. So why would I buy a fucking house that's going to go down in value? Why would I do that? I'm not an idiot. I don't want to. I wouldn't buy this for 1,800 if I thought it was going to 12. It's 50,000. I know that. That's why I'm buying it. But I'm also buying it to get out of this. So I'm buying it for 2 reasons. But yeah, I mean, what's the matter if I'm in a house or an apartment? Does that dictate? I got a master's and I know what I'm talking about. So people like that are clearly communist. They're insecure. They're afraid I know more than them. So they have to put me down so they feel better about themselves because they're very insecure. I've never once said that to anybody in my life. Never. I don't know why you would ever say that. I don't ask Bobby, do you live in a house or an apartment? Oh, you live in an apartment, you're a loser. What does that got to do with the price? I don't know all the facts. He might live in an apartment. I'm assuming he lives in a very nice house, but that doesn't make him an economist. He's a ball player, and whatever he knows, he knows. Whatever he's learned, I'm sure he's very intelligent, but that doesn't make him an economist. I went and got a master's in it. It makes me an economist. But where I live doesn't make me an economist. And that's the whole point of this. You can't judge me because I live in an apartment, how smart I am about economics. I think I clearly think I proved my point. But there was no other, people like that were using up a lot of people's times, right? I don't mind Andrew or Bobby putting in a lot of comments that make sense and add value to the class. What I didn't like was when these people just nitpick you with all these little comments and questions that don't add value, that take me away from it's like the commercial on YouTube. You're in the middle of the guy explaining, and this is the cure to cancer, and they go to this commercial. And you're like, what the fuck? So that's why I don't like people that come in and break my concentration in the middle of a key comment. Andrew, show us your master's diploma. Yes, sir. I happen to actually have it right here. Just because, Andrew, I knew you would ask for it. So here's my master's diploma, and you can see it's with distinction because I was on the dean's list. So here you go, Andrew. And now that football is going to cost you 600 Canadian because you don't trust me. That's my master's diploma with distinction. It was by far the best experience I ever had. I didn't want it to end. I wanted to take more classes. I took 12 for my master's. Good for you. What, I got a diploma or what? You being smart aleck, Andrew? Do I got to boot you? Don't talk like that. So I wanted to take more classes in it because but he didn't teach that much. There was also finance and cost accounting and stocks in the program. I took 3 economics classes, but I wanted to take more. Oh, thank you. Okay. They kind of came out Canadian. I know you Canadians can be sarcastic. When I worked at Hiram Walker Canadian Club, I had a Canadian boss, best boss I ever had. I love the Canadian bosses. And he was very sarcastic, very dry humor. But I understood him because my mom's from Toronto, so I knew that type of humor. And we got along great. But he was very very good to work for. But he had that dry humor like the Canadians do. But so that's what I learned. So I try to teach it in English. And, I don't notice a lot of questions. Do you know only 18% of Americans can drive stick? Well, I would be shocked if it was that much. I can't drive stick because I bought a car that was automatic, and I've always driven an automatic. So that's not surprising. How many Canadians drive stick? Is there more in Canada? I mean, I don't know. Europe, I would probably think like Italy, the Ferraris and those type of cars are stick, but even Mercedes are not stick. They're more the sports cars. So it wouldn't surprise me. Like my brother had a BMW that was a stick. So that was more of a, so the Germans have more sticks, I think. Can I get across the border? Last time I tried taking my girlfriend from Romania to Niagara Falls for the weekend, and we were at the border in Windsor for like an hour. The people just go on break in the middle of the line, right? So there's 10 cars in line, and there's nobody going through anymore. They're on break, and we finally got through. So it took like an hour to get over, but I don't even know, are we still welcome, or do we need to show our COVID vaccine cards or whatever? You guys made such a big deal about COVID. It was like ridiculous. Oh, you can't come. I couldn't even go to see my family. What's the yes? I have the vaccine. Do I need a negative COVID test to get across the border? If I do, I'm not coming. I refuse to take it. Anyway, so, well, that's good. I love Canada. Like I said, Niagara Falls is beautiful. And I got a lot of relatives in Toronto and Waterloo. And my uncle used to live in Montreal, and then he retired and moved to Waterloo. And so they live there. And then my other relatives live in Toronto. And so I used to visit them. But I haven't been there. Well, a couple of years ago, I went to Niagara Falls, but I haven't been there since. But maybe we'll make a trip to there. I'm going to Portugal next month to look for a house, to get out of the U.S., to live in peace and freedom. And housing's much more affordable in Portugal, apparently. So a lot of Americans are going there. It's supposed to look like San Diego. It's supposed to be like you're right on the water and everything. Canada was on lockdown for like 2 years. Yeah, exactly. Where did that get them? I mean, for what? I mean, what the fuck? What was the point of that? Like, my family's there, so why can't I go there? I couldn't even go to be with my family. So I don't know. I don't understand all the bullshit. That's the Nazi mentality. We had low numbers of COVID, yeah, if they even actually existed. And, well, yeah, I mean, the Chinese put it here at San Francisco, so we would get it. It was all part of the plan. It's all part of this reset. It's all part of this inflation, bankruptcy. That was the beginning of, we can say COVID as we fucked the economy up. And that's what it was, unfortunately. So that's what happens. Good God. 3 hours and 47 minutes on economics. Just wonderful. Are they still wearing masks today? Some people I notice. I'll go to the club to swim, and I'll walk in, and there'll be people in the mask. If I go to Target once in a while, I'll see a guy in a mask, and it's like I got to stop from laughing. Like, what the fuck is your problem? Low percentage. Well, you shouldn't have it. I mean, at this point, especially, what was the point of the vaccine? Was so you didn't have it, but it caused your immune system to go down. They're trying to kill people with the vaccine who didn't die from COVID because they thought COVID would kill everybody. But I went on an intermittent fast for 3 days, which helped my immune system, so I didn't get sick. I got a rash where I was itching all the time, but that's gone away. So I'm back to normal, but I will never get another vaccine. I only did it to fly to Europe because I thought I needed it to fly there. I didn't fly it because I thought it was going to help me. What else? So I'll get into some more economics later. Football tomorrow. We'll talk college. I've got 4 locks in college already and a whole slew of other ones. Debating like Tennessee, Kentucky. Do I want to take Tennessee or over? I've got to determine that. And then Michigan State, I think that's an over, and a few other of those games. I've locked the pros. I think I have one lock in the pros. And outside of that, I did really well in the pros. I was very proud of myself last week, just that New England loser. And in college, I had a couple of small losers, so I got to keep that. I live in Florida, and I get in an Uber, and the driver was actually wearing a mask. Good God. Was he Indian or what was Chinese? I noticed the Chinese are real scared people, though the Asians will wear a mask. I remember back 10 years ago when they had that chicken flu or swine, they had that flu, and I flew to Vegas, and there was Asian people wearing that mask on the flight. None of the Americans were. We were laughing. That just shows you how it is in Asia when you're controlled by a dictator and you live in communism, that you don't have your own free thought. And if they tell you to wear a mask, you wear a mask, and you're scared out of your mind. I noticed the Russians also are very private people. I was walking in the Ukraine, and you'd see some hot girl, and you just say, "Hi, how are you?" And she wouldn't give you the time of day. And then I found out they're very afraid to be open and smile and everything else. They started warming up to me. I'm the only idiot there smiling at these hot girls, which were like a million of them, and one after the other, and they're just beautiful, and you're just, hi, and finally a few of them started to warm up. What do you want, Andrew? Who, please? What? Do you want my picks? Pay for them. No free. I'll give a free pick tomorrow, but yeah, I got to teach you to buy it. You got to tell Carrie you need to buy my picks so you can buy more gold, or you can buy a mantle card or an ore card. So send me some silver, and I'll give you my picks. But otherwise, until I see some PayPal money from you, I'm giving you the free pick, and that's it. That's what happens. Anyway, so just keep in mind, in economics, this is being printed. Now, they'll come out with a new dollar. Oh, they'll come out with a new one. But this is what money is, right? It's paper. It's valueless. That's where this is going. This just happens to have 100 on it. If you do some research, you'll see, like in Venezuela or some of these countries, Zimbabwe, they came out with like a $1 billion bill, and it was probably worth $2. I mean, that's the problem. Even Zimbabwe, who has this massive inflation, is starting to come out with gold coins because they know gold is the only trigger to stop the inflation, is to come out with gold. And people are buying. People bought it all up. So keep that in mind. Accumulate as much gold and silver as you can get. It's your safety net. I'd buy a little of this, but I'd much rather buy this. This is secure. This is okay. But, what are you going to do with it? The only thing is, if you travel, and I'm going to test it out when I go to Portugal, I don't know how many ounces of this I can bring. But this, they never challenge, right? They never ask me about this. It's just jewelry, right? But it's gold. And I asked the guy at the gold store, he says, it's worth 3/4 of an ounce because it's 18 karat gold. So I got 18 karat. This is 24 karat. Excuse me. So this, if an ounce is 10,000, this is worth 7,500. This will be worth 10,000. That's the only difference, but I won't pay as much for it. She home now. Our money is so pretty. Your money or your gold? Well, this is money. So your Canadian is currency. This is your money. So I'm assuming you're talking that when you say money. Our money is plastic. What are you Canadians doing coming out with plastic money? Credit cards are not money. They're credit. They're death. You don't want to have a lot. Hi, Carrie. Is Carrie watching yet? Tell her I hope she had a good day at work. And to buy more gold. Carrie, you need to buy this. Go buy this. Or you can buy this, Carrie, because you're Canadian, so you'd want the Bobby Orr card. But buy this. Get out of your money. Time to cook. Time to cook. What are you having? You having what's a good Canadian dish? I don't know, chicken, I guess. You having chicken? Looks like our toonie. Yeah, I know your toonies, your $2 coins. Yeah, but it's worth a whole lot more unless you're made your toonies out of gold. Yeah, I know. Loonies are ones, toonies are two. And they're all worthless. All right, everybody. I'm going on 4 hours, which is way too much. Yeah, loony one, toonie two. I know. I've been to Canada a lot. Like I said, relatives in Toronto and Waterloo. I love the name of the city, Waterloo, London. You're stealing all your city names. It's hysterical. All right. Well, have a good day, everybody. It's a long show. www.teaserking.com. I got 4 college locks picked and I think 1 pro locks picked. So I have 6 teams in locks. Play a nice 6-team teaser, and that'll allow you to buy gold. That's the strategy. Last longer. Plastic money. No, it's still being printed, and they still print the money. As long as they print the money, it goes out real quick. Hi, everybody. Don't tip. Well, okay, it doesn't wear out, but whatever. Have a great day. Time for me to have supper here. Take care. Have a good day. I will see you tomorrow with college football. Again, 4 locks, www.teaserking.com. If you want to buy, go to the site, purchase picks, and it's a PayPal transaction. I don't see it. I just see that I got paid. Nobody knows any. It's very secure. And if you want, my email is on there with questions or comments. Andrew, I want 4. I'll give you 400 Canadian. I'll be nice to you. That's as low as I go. You should be giving me 600. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you very much. And off we go. Go have some Canadian. No, I don't drink. Not too much. I got to watch my sugars. All right. Ciao.